CoCoTALK is an unscripted live broadcast. Anything can and will happen. The views and opinions expressed by members of the panel and the live audience are their own and not necessarily those of the CoCoTALK show, its sponsors, affiliates, or subsidiaries. Open minds encouraged, sense of humor recommended. If any off-color comments were made, we're sorry.
Hi, this is Dale Lear, designer of TRS 80 Color Baseball, and you're listening to CoCoTALK.
This is CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. It's time to drop your socks and grab your real-time clocks, and let's rock.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of CoCoTALK. We are now with you on episode 133, and today we celebrate a very special day. A day celebrating the birth of none other than Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta!
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
All right, we are here. We are live on this very special day where we give thanks to the blessings that is Nick Marotta. That is or that are. The blessings that are Nick Marotta. We are thankful for you, Nick Marotta. To tell you how thankful we are, somewhere or another, I had a thing that I lost that now I need to found. Almost sounds like a song.
Was blind and now you see?
Yeah, I was blind and now I see. But here we go, Nick Marotta.
Oh, wow.
Happy birthday. Everybody sing along if you know the words. To you. Happy birthday. Nick Marotta.
This has been practicing.
Happy birthday to you. Everybody, take it from the top, this time with feelings. A little reprise here.
To you. Happy birthday. To
I've
you.
never seen
Guys are
anybody
the best.
headbang to a ukulele before. This is cool.
I don't know the second verse.
There, yeah. All right. Well,
Nobody ever gets around to singing.
I'm giving my cameraman a hard time.
Here
Here we go.
Remember,
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Nick Mother effing Marotta. Happy birthday, USOB. All right, so here we go.
I feel so loved.
All right.
Was that one of you guys? Or did you find that somewhere?
That was Jason. Jason got out his $5 ukulele and pre-recorded
Wow.
that. So
And that's
Yeah.
our show, folks.
He's the Eddie Van
everybody.
Halen of ukulele.
I
That's all
don't
gotta
think
say.
that you $5 ukulele could make sounds any
listen,
worse.
if
Okay, one more time from the top. Same thing.
sounds
That's
exactly
never
the
coming
same.
out of the
That-
box.
It's
Much,
a
much
perfect
worse.
reproduction.
All right, that's
Of
our
what? I
show.
have
Good night,
no
folks.
idea.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to
All
call
right.
him Nick Marotta Cube now. 'cause we
Hold
have to
on
say
one
his name
second.
3 times, but-
Here we go. Hold on. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web. All right, we're kidding. We kid. We're not.
I kid.
So are we allowed to ask how old you are now, Nick?
Does it have to be in decimal?
All right.
It has to be in binary, please.
How old are you in binary?
Binary will make you sound ancient, so go for it.
If I could be serious for just a minute.
Uh-oh.
I
there
can't
goes-
think of anybody I'd rather hang out with or anywhere I'd rather be on my birthday. And so I'm just going to make do with you guys.
That's unfortunate.
At least you had Tim Hortons Timbits today. That's
I did. I got shortchanged, but I did get Timbits.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. It makes up for the times I've asked for 20 and gotten like 25. So I guess it all balances out in the
Tim Hortons counting is not an exact science.
No.
Oh.
Timbits are like little donut holes for the Americans.
Oh, they're like the Dunchkin Munchkin things that we have here.
You know, some of the some areas in the United States do have Tim Hortons, so I know what you're talking about.
Yes. Thank you guys. Seriously, I was actually really kind of happy that it would fall my birthday this year because it's really one of my favorite things of the week. So
Likewise.
really
This is
awesome.
what
And I
falling
will
is
mention
like.
to Nick as well the version of Xeneon that I released this last week, which will be going over the news. The 6809 optimized one was specifically for you. I wasn't originally going to release it, but I figured since you don't have a 609 yet, you won't be able to upgrade it soon. What the heck? Give you a little bit of a
Oh,
It's
what a
a
nice guy!
Birthday
You guys are really-
optimization. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and on my birthday, it was a show day, and I went to the theme park.
Your gift to yourself is being away from us.
CoCoTALK is a gift, is a
Yeah, it
theme
is.
park.
Gifts that won't stop giving, whether you ask it to or not.
Ken Reichert
It's
says
like an unfinished roller coaster.
Ken says that the Tim Hortons dozen is 11.
Yeah. Also, Tom C said earlier when we were singing along there, said, "Don't give up your day jobs."
Yeah, right. I don't. Bruce is asking for the Nick Marotta audio blip. That's
Was
on
that
my
Bruce
soundboard. Well, here
Who's
I could do it manually. So
Was that Bruce playing the uke, or who was that?
no,
Or
that was
something
Jason.
else?
That was Jason on the $5 uke.
Oh.
Let's see if we can find the Nick Marotta blip here.
I think that was on his double neck uke, but anyway.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's such thing.
Oh, crikeys. Come on. There we go.
It looks something like this.
Oh, that's the double uke. That's
Just
the
a little bit
$10
smaller.
deluxe ukulele right there. So
That sound, but you just
To go back to the $5 store and glue two of these together.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
that
It's
sound
a lot
bite you
cheaper
just
than mine was, I'll say that.
Yeah, go ahead, Nick.
sound bite you just heard was from Bruce. That's one of the nice things that you guys have given me over this last year.
The Bruce,
I've gotten
yeah.
sound bites. I've gotten all kinds of just fantastic.
We have a special dedication to you at the end of every show. Your name is up there 3 times, thrice.
because I love hearing my name. Apparently,
You
that just
do.
makes me feel very good.
Honestly, I'm starting to get jealous.
Yeah. Because nobody says Curtis Boyle, Curtis Boyle, Curtis Boyle. Because when you do,
Well, they say it once and then they say, "Get the heck out of here."
So if my character gets killed off next week, I'll know why. Amnesia.
all right. He's in a coma. Oh, poor Nick. We're gonna...
It's not a tumor.
yes.
We got to go to the introductions now.
Are we going to talk about Coco at all?
We're not done
Is there
talking
anybody on the
about
show
Nick.
besides Nick that counts?
We
I
are
don't
not
know.
done talking about Nick, jealous boy.
That's it. I'm going to my trailer.
That's it. Next to the lovely and talented Nick Marotta on his left and on someone else's right, we have Ron Delvaux.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Ron Delvaux.
This hand shows.
All right. Ron
This hand
Delvaux's
shows
got
high.
a Tandy product or two back there.
What? Two.
You got two Tandy products. We got floppies. We got MPIs. We've got
Yep.
audio spectrum analyzers going on there.
Yep.
We got all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
And
I wouldn't
Nightmare
say
Highway.
analyzers.
Yes. Oh, we forgot to mention that. Okay. So, in honor of today being Nick Marotta's birthday, everyone in the audience is going to get a free copy of Nightmare Highway.
Yay!
Promo code Nick Marotta cubed.
Woo!
All right, we're going to try that one again. In honor of today being Nick Marotta's birthday,
Yeah.
everyone in the audience today will get a
Will
free
get-
copy of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway.
There you go. Yeah, you guys suck. All right. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Just
You're
does
too
not
kind.
help at
We,
all.
we can't all
Okay.
be Nick Marotta, you know.
so we're gonna basically introduce the panel as it revolves around Nick Marotta because that's the way the world should be. So to the right of Nick Marotta, we've got Mark D. Overholzer. Mark D. Mark D. We're getting to panel introductions. I'm introducing the panel. Now you have nothing to say. Say something, Mark.
Something.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Okay, and we mean this not only metaphorically but literally, but beneath Nick Marotta is John Lowry. John
It's a
Lowry
wonder
is
we
here.
still have guests on this program.
Hey, everybody.
Adjacent corner to John Lowry, we have Jason Reichert, the Cocoa Man. Welcome, Jason.
CoCoTALK now 100% gluten free.
And another adjacent corner from Nick Marotta, we've got Grant Leedy. Hey, Grant.
Hey, how's it going, guys? And Nick, you're an old fart, by the way. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I know. I fit right in. Now.
All right.
Not the oldest. And that's
Actually,
all
on
I
this
care
panel,
about.
probably one of the younger ones, I would guess. But
Right.
Probably, yeah.
He's a spry 49.
50, 51, 51, 51.
yeah,
All
younger
right.
than me. Thanks for making me feel old.
Off in the corner somewhere in old Canada, L. Curtis Boyle's with us. How's it going, eh?
Yep. Oh, well, we're celebrating Nick's birthday in a proper Canadian way. We had 2 inches of snow this morning, so
Beauty, eh?
beauty.
Love it.
All right. Ken says you got a smoky on your tail there, Greg. We've got with us, coming from the musical basement of somewhere in Ohio, Brian, the Music Man Schubering. Welcome, Brian.
Ohio? That's Illinois, buddy.
Illinois.
You're talking some war here.
Listen, I'm not.
Happy birthday, Mark. Or Nicholas Marotta.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Another
it's,
one of those weeks at work.
Okay.
Not
You'll be
Ohio.
my
Sorry,
friend.
Illinois. Listen, I'm geographically illiterate. Yes, somewhere that's not Florida. I can't figure anything out else past the boot. So what are you talking about there? All right. Thank you
Italy,
for
you
being
mean?
here.
What are you talking about?
Exactly. All right, we have Down Under, and in the bottom of the screen, on the bottom of the planet, none other than Mr. Nicholas Morantes. Good eye, Nick.
G'day,
You
everyone.
said none under.
None under. None under.
And this daylight savings kicked in, so I could have actually slept another hour today. I got up at my usual time for the show, and
Oh,
I was told, no, it's an hour later now.
he looked at his clock
Yeah,
and
that
said,
buggered me up, too.
"Crikey." Crikey.
I could have been out shoveling a whole other hour. Well, actually, no, I'm fine with that. Thanks for starting the show late.
Hey, Nick,
What time is?
how old are you, Nick?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, if I tell you, I have to kill you. 55.
I'll do it.
You're 55. I'm probably
that's
the
not
oldest one
old.
here.
Actually, I'm 55 too.
Wow.
I'm 65.
Wow.
59.
I can't drive 55.
I can't drive 55 either. We have a co-host of Tandy Data Products Talk, Terry Steggy's with us. Hey, Terry.
Hey, guys. Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks, Terry.
Hey, Terry, how come you don't have the Steggy in the background?
My screen's not working right. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do.
Oh,
All right. And then we just got joined by John Strong of Strongwear. Welcome, John.
Welcome.
All right. He's here. He's here. And we're going to start the show. We want to say hello to everybody in Facebook right now, Facebook and YouTube. Let's say hi to the people right now. Mark B is here. Terry Steen is here. Ken Reichert is here. DeBruce is here. Curtis is here. Mark Overholzer, Mark B. Tom C is here. Ken Reichert is here. Al Hartman from Jersey is here. Al Hartman, Ken Reichert, Mark B. Nick Marotta is in the live chat. DeBruce is here. Al Hartman, Terry Steen. I'm starting to repeat myself here. Alexander Wallace has joined us from Mexico. Rob Inman's in the house. Al Hartman, Terry Steggy, Curtis Boyle. We have all kinds of people in the live chat. I'm not sure if anybody's chatting with us right now on Facebook or not. I'm also multi-streaming to the Bookface. There apparently are a few
on Facebook so far.
no chatting, but there is a few viewers out there in Bookface. So hello to you there, Bookface. So we're live. We're talking Coco. We have now gotten past the most important part of the show, which is just acknowledging Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta, Nick Marotta. So now that we've done that, now that we've introduced who's on the panel, we don't
Enough
have...
about me. What do you guys think about?
Exactly. What do you guys think about Nick Marotta, by the way? Let's just open it up. How about the...
No,
my
no,
God, is he
no,
old?
no.
Can we be honest?
I was kidding.
The Nick Marotta Celebrity Roast has begun.
great.
I think we have
That's
too
every
much
other
Canadian
week. What are you
content.
talking about?
The ukulele king.
Yes. So...
As I would tell my brothers, happy birthday.
whose birthday is it?
I would tell my brothers, instead of saying birthday, I'd say happy birthday.
Burp?
Day?
Burp.
As in belch.
Belch. Okay, gotcha. Happy bodily function day to you, Nick Marotta. All right. Do we have project updates, acquisitions, stories to tell, stories to share? How about we start with the birthday boy? Anything new and exciting with you, birthday boy?
Yes, over my shoulder, I've got sent to me from Mark Overhoser. I have audio spectrum analyzer with manual in excellent condition.
Nice.
Somehow I collected 2 of them with manuals.
Wow.
Imagine that.
So that's actually a live feed ish of our podcast audio
Of CoCoTALK being analyzed.
Yes.
Audibly.
Ish. It's off by a few like half a second because the way I have it hooked up. But yes.
Okay. Excellent. Well, that's really cool. That's very, very cool.
And along with a couple of other assorted things, got some cool screwdrivers and nice little package of stuff from them. So I really appreciate that. Thanks, Marco.
You're welcome.
Mark Overholzer sending the birthday wishes. All right. Very cool. What about Jason the Coco Man Reichert? Anything new since your earth-shattering revelation last week of this new product that everyone must have, the Joey?
Joey. Well, first of all, while we were talking about I had like the pound of screwdrivers from Mark Overhoser I have here right at the ready. And as far as the Joey goes, have one right. Oh, there's the $5 uke there. Got the hey.
Hey, David.
There's David. Got the Joey here, and and of course now we're taking pre-orders. You can go to cocoman.biz/Joey if you want to pre-order. I'm expecting to start shipping December-ish. It's looking at this point, just getting everything in and getting it done. And if you pre-order now, you also get a free digital download of Nightmare Highway.
Nightmare Highway. Excellent. Well, we're glad to have you here. We're thankful for the Joey. We've just been joined by David O'Connor. Welcome to the program, David.
Hey, Stevie. Hello, everybody.
Nick's neighbor.
Massive computer issues before. Stupid Windows 10 updates. I usually turn it off, and it decided it was going to turn itself on, and it snuck in an update and stuffed up all my audio drivers. So
just stop it, stupid Windows 10. That's enough.
Anything new and exciting with you this week?
I've planned on having a whole lot of new and exciting things happening, but not many of them have come to fruition. But I got a little acquisition to share later on.
Okay.
So,
Okay. What about Brian the Music Man Shoebring in not in Ohio but in Illinois, in the musical basement? What's going on with you, Mr. Music Man? Testes 1 2.
Oh, I'm here.
People don't want the spotlight on them.
I was actually just grabbing my Coco 2 with my Spectrum audio analyzer and hooking it up.
Excellent.
Really not too much new here other than I'm finally going to get into my code for my MIDI box jukebox player for MIDI files and break it apart instead of one big hairy looping piece of code. Break it apart and learn how to chain the modules properly.
Okay.
And Curtis, can you point me to a good spot where I can see some good examples of chaining modules, passing variables, returning them back, and such?
What language?
Basic 09. I'm sorry. That's what it is right now. Yeah, it's.
Yeah. No, it's not too hard at all.
Their book does not explain it all that much. It just says, just chain it here and then just pass back and just make sure you got a variable that can receive the variable back.
Yeah. No, well, I won't do it on the air here, but yeah, we can chat about that afterwards.
Most definitely. I'm not looking for, shall we say, discourse right immediately, but it's just something I want to do.
I mean, eventually I do want to do a Basic 9, tutorial series and a Nitrous 9 tutorial series here on the show as a segment, but not yet. I got to get EOU 5 done and a few other things first.
Hey, Brian Shoebring, I do have a question for you because maybe I misunderstood you. You recently announced you were working on salvaging a hard drive for Tony Pedraza, and something on that hard drive I thought you were saying had a BBS.
Right. Yeah. The issue with that was this: is that Tony's been trying to get his system back up and running.
Mm-hmm.
It was this main system. He had like 2 or 3 SCSI hard drives, and that he would back them up like every week or so, and against each other and kind of mirror them out. And he's been trying to get his system unpacked and running. And for, I guess, this year and also last year, he tried to get it to boot and it won't. And I got much of the hardware that he has. And I actually tried to use my Disto supercontroller. It's not a supercontroller 2, though. I thought it was. But it fails to read my disk drive or floppy drives properly. So I actually had to go with the regular floppy drive. So I can read his boot disk and all of that. But his boot disk, I can't even read, which is kind of interesting. But since I had the TC3 or the TC9 SCSI controller from Mark, and that I just simply added the drivers for it, and I was able to access his hard drive and back it up to a disk image. Just had to do it twice because I had to demode the descriptor so that I had like about 250 meg instead of 58 meg of space, because he had 250 some odd meg hard drive. So
was it full?
It got very full real quick. You try to slam 248 megs worth of data onto a 57 meg hard drive image.
So Tony's 250 meg was full. Like, it wasn't just.
No, it was only about 127 meg worth of data in that, but some of the data was looks like it got corrupted or bad. So I was only able to get about 115 meg off of it. I just simply used the dsave command and boom, got it from there over to the image on my system. And, it took all a day to do it, but he now has an image of his hard disk that contains all his personal information, plus also the bulletin board system too.
Yeah, that's the part that I was kind of curious about, because when you had posted that, I said, hey, would this be available to the public at some point in time? And then Tony's like, well, you want to make my personal files available? And I wasn't looking for that, but I just thought if we had an archive of a bulletin board, kind of like how we got the archive of Delphi, it'd be kind of neat to kind of scroll through history and look at some old stuff.
Yeah.
So
the message base is some of the files that might have disappeared from CompuServe and Delphi that we never got back. They might be on there too. I mean, there's possibly a whole treasure trove of stuff.
So I mean, I don't know if that's something that we can look into down the road, but it would be interesting if there is a snapshot of a bulletin board system that existed in the past. It'd be kind of neat to look at it now,
Yeah, I was able to look at like the user base and whatnot, but there wasn't really a whole lot of messaging going back and forth. Messaging, I believe, on his system, if I recall correctly, was going through actually FidoNet. So
if he has any of those, I'd love to have those back.
Yeah, I don't know if I actually have the image of the hard drive myself and that.
Okay.
So
that'd be interesting to see if that ever came to fruition.
Yeah, but a lot of the download files and other upload and download files and that are basically empty. So for some reason, he couldn't recover those for some reason. Now, Mark Marlette has a hard drive also, which is supposedly a copy of it. It's possible what I got is an earlier copy that may not have all the files. I don't know if I can get a hold of that hard drive from Mark. I could try it again and see if maybe something got missed on different images. Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm going to have to contact
that would be interesting to see. It'd be neat to have another one of these kind of historical things that we could peek into. I love the idea of being able to look at Delphi, which I missed that train completely. So the fact that archive's out there and we can kind of scan through it's neat. It's neat to kind of peek into the past,
Yeah, and I'd love to see some of the old like OS9 Echo and Coco Echo stuff from FidoNet that I contributed actively for years on, and I don't have any of it anymore.
Okay, cool.
That stuff was a long time ago.
So that's what's been happening over here. So
okay, great.
I'm going to set up my version of Audio Spectrum Analyzer behind me.
Excellent. We can't get enough. Ron Delvaux, did we ask you what's new in cooking this week? I don't remember.
No, if you want to throw up my, my Ron's Garage thing quick, can you?
I can certainly try. Let's go to
see if
Bookie
it'll work.
McBookface. Bookie McBookface.
And if not, Jason can play it on the uke for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's really talented. He did a great job with that song.
Ron's Garage.
Or if you need time, you can go to somebody else and come back to me if you get it ready.
Yeah, no, give me 1 second here. We are switching over to Ron's Garage on Facebook right now. Here we go, Ron.
Okay, well, I had a friend. Well, first off, this I guess it's Ukraine. There's a guy from Ukraine who showed a video of his collection. He has a museum in Ukraine.
Okay.
And I saw a color computer 2 and the recorder down below it there.
Yeah, cassette
and then toward in another part of the video was this Coco 1.
Yeah.
And at the end, Gizmodo did it, and they put their logo over our Coco.
Oh,
Isn't
that's
that cool?
neat. That is cool.
You have to look at it. He's speaks in whatever language they have, and that's the video there.
All right, so a peek into the Soviet computer revolution on Gizmodo. Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool. And this thrift guy.
Yep.
He found Coco for $3 at a
Is this in
Goodwill.
your news, Curtis?
Well, the thrift one, that's actually from like 2016, and I thought we'd covered it back when it first happened.
Oh, I don't know.
I never saw
So
it.
I didn't put it in the news because I've seen that like years ago.
Okay.
That same one.
So you're saying, oh my goodness, was this a smoking Coco?
Yes, if you go down,
smoking?
no, it's not. It's a Model 3. If you go
Yeah.
down quite a ways, you'll see the first thing I brought that in the house with a large.
Oh my goodness!
I turned it on later and the smoke came out.
Is that did you release the magic smoke, Ron?
Yeah, it came right out.
You know the
I
hardest
turned
part
it on
about
and
releasing the smoke?
putting it back.
Putting it back in. That's right. Yeah. Look at all that magic smoke coming out of there, Ron.
Just get toast is burning.
Check it out, huh?
And here I
How
thought
many
you were just
people-
doing a grand entrance with dry ice like rock stars use.
How many people have actually seen that? I mean, you always have it happen, and you never have a camera nearby.
So
And
this
in
is real.
case I
This is
did.
not staged. This is real magic smoke.
This is a real computer committing
So
suicide.
basically, what we're seeing is we're seeing the soul of this computer going to heaven right now.
Yeah, going to heaven.
I had an old floppy drive that I plugged in recently that instantly smoked, but that's
Wow.
been it for a while.
I mean, this almost looks like a prop, like you put a dry ice machine inside
Yeah.
here for Halloween or something.
My
you know?
wife goes, "Is it supposed to do that?"
Then she ran out and got the wiener sticks and marshmallows.
The answer is yes once.
I said, "We're gonna unplug it real quick here."
I do have a question for you, Ron.
Yeah.
Are any of those bananas still available? I'm a little hungry.
No, they're gone.
They're gone.
Now, that's it. I had a printer that came with this Model
Wow,
3.
what a
The printer
shame.
worked
What a shame.
fine, and it didn't squirt anything out of it.
Did you
So-
figure out what smoked on it? Is it like the power
No,
supply?
not yet. They say it's a RIFA.
Oh yeah, suppressive cap.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yeah, the Apple IIs have the same problem.
Yeah, so
But
I'm
they're
not.
renowned for it. Yeah,
I'm not
reefer
too
caps are,
concerned.
Just so
they're
you
really-
know, Bruce Moore was correcting us. They don't speak Russian in the Ukraine. They speak Ukrainian in the Ukraine
Oh.
on that video.
I think they
Ron?
speak some Russian
That's
too. but
funny.
Yeah,
Oh.
Ukrainian primarily.
I wouldn't know. What language do they speak in America?
American.
American.
Yeah.
There we go.
American. That's
we
with all those misspellings from proper
we,
English.
we speak American.
Hoosier.
We speak
Depending
American.
from where you're at.
America.
Yeah.
All
right.
That,
we
Ron,
talk joke,
Ron, when it-
man. Talk joke, man.
when it went up in smoke.
Yes.
Get the reference.
Yes.
Ron Delvaux up in
Yeah.
smoke.
I leaned
Yeah,
over and took some in, man. It was great.
Man, oh man.
If it was the reefer caps, which is how we pronounce it, that actually is how you pronounce it, reefer caps over
Yeah.
here anyway in Australia.
Reefer caps,
What was his name? Ronnie Chong? Is Ronnie Chong back?
Yeah, Ronnie Chong is back. Yeah.
He is, man.
They actually emit a really foul smell, and if it was a strong, stinky smell, it would almost certainly be reefer caps.
Did you say did you say reefer caps? Is this
I
a-
That's
posted
how we,
that
yeah,
in-
that's
in
The
the model.
that's
one.
actually how we pronounce it in Australia. So I don't know whether it's how we pronounce it in
It's
USA. but in
R.I.F.I..
Australia, it's-
Don't fear the reefer caps.
Now listen, if there's reefer caps, that sounds like a hat you could smoke. A reefer cap. So.
We'll have to ask Chet next time he's on.
Doesn't last long, man.
Ronnie
my,
Chong is
It
back.
goes up in the air and doesn't come back.
I've never seen anyone
I've
eat
got
that
a-
much
I've got
acid
a-
before in my
Yeah.
life.
I've got a big Hammond, not a Hammond, a Yamaha D85 organ here. It's their biggest model in 1980. It was worth something like 40 grand, and that's got reefer caps on the input filter. And when I got it here and first switched it on after I bought it, it worked great. And then all of a sudden, I heard this big bang and this waft of smoke out the back, and exactly what you were talking about, Ron. And it was the reefer caps. I just left them, I haven't even bothered replacing them. I just got a pair of pliers and snipped them off because I'm feeding them. All they do is they filter the input mains, and I'm feeding all my equipment and everything from filtered mains already from my solar setup, so I don't even need them. And it works perfectly without them, so I just left it.
Okay. On the Apple computer, they used to knock off noise from the computer being generated onto your AC lines and interfering with stuff in your house. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
I haven't turned it back on, so I don't believe it's going to come on.
Okay.
It quite possibly will. If it doesn't, it'll only be a blown fuse. And if it's blown the fuse, if you snip off the reefer caps and put a new fuse in it, it'll probably work.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, Ron Delvau's had some pictures for us on Ron's Garage. If you're not familiar with Ron's Garage, it's one of about 19 different color computer related groups that Ron has on Facebook. We've got Ron's Garage, Show Us Your Tandies. We've got Nitrous 9. Do you also host a color computer marketplace one too, or is that somebody else?
No, I did the cover
artwork for it. Okay, so Ron has many.
Coco Pie
group.
I have Coco Gallery.
Yeah.
The MC10.
Well,
Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies, my favorite cereal. Yes. Okay.
All
right.
I love the MC10.
All right. So as we go around the room, project updates and acquisition. Does L. Curtis Boyle have anything he wants to let us know about?
Well, I released a couple more 609 and the one 609 optimized game we mentioned earlier.
Thank you, Curtis.
I'll cover in the news there because I got some side-by-side videos that David Ladd was nice enough to put together for us.
David Ladd.
And I also finally got started back on Nitrous 9 Ease of Use Beta 5.
Yay.
I got the new IO Man that Bill worked on 3 or 4 months ago, and I've actually got it to assemble. I haven't actually put it into test it yet, but work is starting now finally.
Excellent. What about
you can hear all the angels in the background.
John Lowry, anything new and exciting with you in the world of retro hobbies?
Not really. Just my switcheroo that showed up today. I can't wait to get that going. I still need a SCART to HDMI that's on its way from China.
Excellent.
Should be here in the next couple of days. I'll be able to test it out. But honestly, just got back to work this week and haven't been doing much in terms of like programming.
Let's see that shirt, man.
The shirt I'm wearing,
is
NASA.
Yeah, all right. It's the meatball they call it.
The meatball.
Yeah, NASA meatball.
That's what they call it.
NASA
meatball.
NASA Plumbrook in Sandusky, Ohio. It's pretty rare to get in there because
isn't that the home of the very first nuclear reactor?
I don't think so.
Plumbrook.
Back in the 40s, it was a munitions thing. They had these specially designed buildings where they would store the explosives in case it went up, in case a building exploded, it would go up, not sideways, and take out the other buildings. But at some point in the 60s, NASA took over, and the largest vacuum chamber in the world is there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I actually met a guy that works there just a few months ago. We were in a particular class for something, and you work for NASA in Ohio. I've seen that place. I've driven past that place. I was surprised to see something NASA in Sandusky, Ohio.
Yeah, it's a satellite of NASA Glenn out of Cleveland.
He told me about the vacuum chamber, like you just mentioned there.
Yeah, it's there's 2 of them there. There's one that they can put rocket engines in, close the lid, and they test rocket engines that have to fire in the vacuum of outer space. And that one's pretty cool. But then the big one is featured in the movie The Avengers at the very beginning of the movie Avengers. The Avengers, when the Tesseract and all that, that's all done inside the vacuum chamber in Sandusky there. And they do all sorts of neat stuff there, and it's a cool place. I really like it a lot. They don't let people in very much because because they test rockets there, there's like big tanks of hydrogen and stuff like that, so they don't let the public in very often. It's in like a 20 mile by 20 square mile area, and then they're in the middle of it, and the rest of it's all farmland in case the place blows up. Won't kill too many people.
Not too many people. Acceptable. Acceptable, right? So, acceptable loss. Okay, very cool. Welcome to NASA Talk, everybody. You do realize that we're here to celebrate Nick Marotta's birthday. That had nothing to do with Nick Marotta nor his birthday, so shame on you. Very cool. Well, we're glad to have you here on the show, John Lowry. We've talked to Jason. We talked to Brian. How about from down under, Nick Marentes, who woke up an hour early today? But we're glad that you're here, Nick Marentes. What's new and exciting with you, sir?
Oh, not too much. I've been taking a bit of a break from my Gunstar and working on my donut dilemma. So I'm trying to bring that to the modern world by just doing a few updates to it. And I think last week I spoke of some color changes I did as well. So
yep,
just working on that. I'm going to be adding joystick controls, one of the main things.
Yay, joysticks!
Yay! So that'll be like a will that be like a value added bundle with Gunstar?
I'll probably bundle it with Gunstar, I guess.
I remember one time you were talking about rebooting or updating Rupert. I can't remember the real name. Is it Rupert Rhymes or Rupert Rhythm?
I still do plan to do that.
It's not a disaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rupert Disaster with Funstar.
Yeah,
that's right. I've been slowly updating my old programs because when I wrote them, I was still learning, and so there's certain things I could do better now, and I just thought I'd just bring them up to the modern world.
Are you suffering from George Lucas syndrome right now? We're getting all the special editions.
Yeah, well, that's right. The director's cuts now. You're getting the director's cuts now.
Yeah, I was going to go through and optimize some of Nick's programs, kind of like I've been doing some of the other ones here, but then I looked at the code and it was so horrid. I just said, this isn't worth my time.
Would you like some sauce with that spaghetti code?
He tossed it into the ease of use garbage can.
Yeah.
Pull
that really nice, pristine looking garbage can, yes.
Pull the difficulty down a little bit.
Yeah. He's got
North American
He's
players.
got a wimpy loser and a Nick and Steve level too. So we need the
yeah. Well, that's Gunstar.
Barely breathing levels.
I have to rename
semi-sentient ones. Yeah.
We have
the Stevie mode or the normal mode.
Right. We have a request for Neutroid HD. Can you give us an HD version of Neutroid at any given time?
I was thinking of a 3D version.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Is that hyperdilation?
John Strong of Strongware is with us. John, what you been cooking up in your laboratories?
Well, I just, as I announced last week, I did the insert version, got it designed finished for the new FDO 502 controller.
Okay, is this the Ian Maverick reproduction?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so that had actually started out as the design here, which I went ahead and implemented. I actually got to put the inserts in here and print the top, but I have my new version of the CoCoSDC.
Ooh, very nice. What's new about it?
Well, it has the snaps differently. It's going to be shaped.
Well, hold it up where we can see it. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you flip the switches without taking it apart?
Yes.
The dip switches. So an opening for the dip switches, you mean?
Yeah, it has one. I just don't have a top here printed.
Yeah. Oh, I see. There's some nice grooves in there. So there's
switches.
Hold it up a little higher, John. We can barely see it.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, up here.
Look at that.
I'll look at
a little
that.
lower. There you go. Okay.
Okay,
now
there
we
we
see
go.
it. There we go.
And
Now just put it
so
right in front of your face so we don't have to look at you. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm used to that.
No, that's cool. I like the textures and the grooves. It's got some style going on there now. So.
Okay, and so it's kind of very similar to the.
Are those available in designer colors?
What color are you wanting? Depends what I got.
Black.
Inside.
It comes
As long as it's black.
As long as it's black. Yep. Any color you want, as long as it's black.
And so it'll have the cutout. This is for the other one, but the difference would be it has the cutout for the switches.
Yeah, I like that. I like the subtle, the nice little curves and the groove through the center and stuff. That's neat.
Yeah.
And for the people that have multiple machines that have Dragons and Cocos, having the dip switches handy is really going to be nice.
And I know some people don't need it, and the idea that this will, they will snap in, okay, but I put the snap a lot wider than my older cases, so it's easier to take in and out.
Okay.
Okay. And then for those.
Hold it up a little higher. We can't quite see it. Okay. No, that looks good.
Okay. And so for those who want a more permanent attachment, there's the screw in the bottom.
Okay.
Okay. And that will have the metal insert in it also. And
now, what about the little button you press to switch discs? Is that still just a through hole, or have you implemented like a physical button for that, or?
no, it's still there, but you got a lot more.
Is it an innie or an outie?
I think you can press it a little bit better, a little bit more bevel on it. I may need to put just a little bit more on it than what I got on this one. But generally, you can push it pretty good if you got fingernails. Okay.
Okay, let's hold it up where we can see that. Okay.
Okay, and so we're gonna have a.
Oh yeah.
Kind of hard to see, but yeah.
Yeah, I know it's kind of hard to see.
Well, we could use our stylus.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Well,
no,
yeah,
cool.
I got a previous version. It might show up more on the.
But it's really it's a through hole where you have to push in on the actual button. You don't have an external button pusher lever thingy. Okay.
No,
all right.
I don't.
All right.
And on the 3D on the filament printed one, that's kind of hard to do and make sure it's going to hold up.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No,
Yeah,
that's good.
So again, it just kind of.
I like the subtle grooves, and it's not just a square case anymore. So I like the kind of stylistic enhancements.
The idea of the first case was, okay, let's make a case that's good, it's out there, I can produce it, and so people don't have to use a 502 case. And because I announced it just shortly after Tim said he was canceling his case that he was making for him, and so the idea was to keep old hardware from being sacrificed.
Sure.
And so I tried to do it as cheap, low cost as possible. Here I'm going to charge for these just a few more dollars. Okay, $20 a piece for the case.
Okay. I like the little finger grooves there too, where you can kind of get your.
And so
grip
I
on it
added
and
some of
pull
the
it out.
extra things that I've done, and I think it's going to be a really nice case.
Now, how much extra is, for the cup holder version? No? No cup holder?
I'm going to show you something there, Ron. I'm going to show you what I actually have here. This is, my wife got this for me. I don't know how well you can see this, but this is actually a clip-on. It's like a giant clothespin clip. But
Can you zoom up your screen, Stevie, to show?
Yes. Is there any possible way?
Okay, and if you can see this, this is
Actually
actually
we're gonna need you to hold that higher.
I have this clipped on the side
Could
of
you
my
hold
desk.
it in front of your face?
I can, yes. Nobody wants to
much
see
better.
my face. Much better. Yeah. So I have a cup holder clip-on. It's literally a clip-on cup holder that you can put anywhere. So,
That's
So
cool.
you have that on
Yeah.
your new table?
yes, I do. It's on the side.
Wow.
Because I've already
Cool.
spilled drinks on my new table. So
Oh.
So John, you said it's going to be about $20 a case.
Yes.
And when's the availability of them, do you think?
They are available basically now. Okay.
is that
I gotta
American?
print 'em.
$20 American?
Yes. And then if it's shipping United States, I do the second day just so it's insured. And they have raised that price for the shipping to like $7.90. So
So what's all those wires and things in the background back there?
Oh,
On the little table?
Oh yeah, I got all kinds of stuff over there. I've got
There's buttons and knobs and stuff on them?
oh yeah.
It's like a kid in a candy store.
John's-
Buttons and knobs.
John's laboratory.
Oh well, it's the part is trying to keep some things in there. We got a bunch of stuff in here that's going to go out when I get the room finished painting next to here, and then there's stuff from there that's going to come in for my projects, my electronics, and
So it's just some of the stuff that makes everything wonderful work, huh?
yeah, and then the back behind I got the ham radio, which is not hooked up right now. I've got to get some things set up. I got my big. I've got some setting on top of it, but I've got my
Shaky Vision. Oh, that's one of the
Yeah.
that one of the 3D printers right there.
No, that's my photo printer.
Hmm.
Okay. 17-inch wide, and of course the laser printer and stuff I use for work. I don't get that kind of hard to aim this thing. Yeah. And then it's a little messy yet because I don't have anything up, and then you'll see that I'm running on my
Hi, Mom.
my 4K monitor.
Oh wow, look at that.
Okay, so I have one of those big 40-some inch 4K monitors from Acer, and so that's what I do my development work on.
Nice.
Let's see where you have to paint.
That's the room next to us. Okay, it's full of stuff.
All right, cool.
And but so and then in the garage, I've got the 3D printer set out in the garage, and we're still trying to get all that arranged and stuff. Priority has been the main living space.
So, John, when you have to print, do you communicate from your computer to the garage through like a network? The network.
It's a neural net. It's a satellite-enabled neural net. It's a learning net too. So.
Well,
telepathy.
One of them has Wi-Fi on it, okay, but I've tried it and it's not real reliable, the Wi-Fi on it. So it's just easier to take the SD card and print it, because it'll print standalone with the SD card, and it doesn't matter what I'm doing on the computer. It doesn't tie my computer.
That's handy.
The old-fashioned sneaker net.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just works as a sneaker net, but and the SLA, the Risen printer, takes actually a USB drive, and you plug it in, and the other takes SD cards. And so I do that. That way, I can do whatever I want. Don't have to worry about, something interfering with the software, which happened when I was running it directly straight. I'd have to tie the computer up to that. Sometimes I'll run something else and it would mess with the software up. Compete with memory and stuff. I don't have a lot of memory in this system because I've got a maxed out take. It is a 6-core AMD CPU, but the motherboard only takes like 4 gigs max. So I've got it maxed out, and so I've got to upgrade on things. But so the 4K is really nice for doing things, and I can have multiple development tools up, an emulator, and all this stuff at the same time. And so it's really nice to work with. Nice big monitor.
So, do you have a CoCo set up anywhere?
Hey, can we finish our show and tell section here?
Yeah.
We got a few more people to get to.
With the new one, I have the CoCo actually have space here just to the left of me that I'm going to try to get to. So it's set down. It's going to go up. If I can't set it there all the time, I've got a place where I have my laptop for work. It goes to the back at the other side. It's set up there. So it's basically right here to the left of me where I'm going to do the CoCo stuff. And so that's kind of the setup there.
All right, real quick, just so make sure I get to everybody, and then we can get back. I just wanted to be
Sure.
Terry Steggy, did you have anything to update us on this week?
Well, I just wanted to thank Paul Shoemaker. He sent me a link on Facebook about a TDP version of video text.
Ooh, I think I saw that.
Yeah, I talked to the gentleman that was selling that. He also had the learning lab for for TDP. So I don't know that I've ever seen a picture of that, and most of the wikis that I've seen don't ever really show anything other than a catalog number about it. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Did you order those, and did you win the auctions on both of those?
Yep, I did.
Okay, cool.
And the only other thing I got the TDP wise was that color basic and extended system reference card. Still waiting for that to show up as well. So.
Okay. Now that one had all the characters in color themselves too, right? All the symbols, all the semi-graphics blocks.
Yep, that's correct.
Yeah, I don't even think ours did. I don't think the CoCo one had all the semi-graphics blocks in colors. I don't remember though. I have got a few of those somewhere.
Yeah, this looks like it was from a third party.
Okay.
There was a Coco third-party one. I'm trying to remember the name of it because they made ones for the Model 1, the Coco, and a bunch of others that had full color.
Yeah, I enjoyed that segment last week, the TDP talk. I'm hoping that I'm sure we're not going to have like tons of TDP revelations on a weekly basis, but as they sprinkle in, we definitely want to hear about them.
Yeah, that was fun. I appreciate Ron there too. This card, Curtis, is from Nano.
Yeah, okay, that's the same one that did the Coco.
Okay,
ones
so
too.
it was a third-party card because it did seem a little bit more.
They used to advertise
visual.
in Rainbow. They had a full color ad showing the various cards they made. For
You know what it
various
kind of
micros.
reminds me of that we've had more of recent, but you could buy these kind of laminated cheat sheets like how to use Excel and how to use Word, and there's a company that makes some of these like single sheets and bifold and trifold glossaries for like Microsoft Office products that are laminated. I can't remember the name of that company.
Hey, did you ever see the one that had a 6809 and the registers and everything, and it had all the different commands and stuff, and it would fold out? It was similar.
Yeah,
Like
I think it's actually made by the same company.
reference company?
If I remember.
Okay, that's cool.
Is it like purple? Do you remember?
I don't remember the color off the top of my head. They made, like I said, they made a ton of them. They made some for Model 1s, Model 3s, Model 2s, Cocos, TDPs. Might even had an MC10 one. I can't remember.
I got a Model 4 one.
Okay. How about we do this? We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll come back. And then if we got some more from John, we can hear some more from John Strong. We got some other things to talk about. Oh, there it is. That's the Paul Shoemaker Coco breakout artwork. That's a neat thing there, too. That's suitable for framing. That looks good, John. All right. So
when we come back, I didn't realize we were actually doing projects and updates and acquisitions and everything because I come in late because of my computer issues. So when we come back, I actually do have something to share. If
okay, well, absolutely. We'll come back to you. We'll come back to John Strong. I like to get a good round robin going, and then we can come back and circle back and do some more. So, in honor of Nick Marotta's birthday, which we are celebrating today, which everyone should celebrate every day of the year.
It should be a national holiday.
It should be a national holiday. Every day should be Nick Marotta Day.
It has been mentioned for the last like 15 minutes. I was getting a little concerned, It's like,
I'm not sure which nation would want to do that, but yes.
So Samuel Gimes, you guys are all familiar with Samuel Gimes?
Oh, yes.
Samuel Gimes has been thinking and has come up with a new Coco thought. So enjoy this.
And now, Coco Thoughts by Samuel Gimes. Legend says, when the moon is full, if you go out in the country by the lake and whisper the name of Nick Marotta 3 times, his spirit will appear and he will grant you a product idea.
Radio Shack, America's technology store.
Right! This Christmas, Tandy has a very special offer. A family color computer pack to take away at a very special price. This family computer comes complete with software and costs an incredible $449, a saving of $241.69. It's powerful, educational, and ideal for the young and young at heart. The easy way to start computing. The Color Computer Family Pack from Tandy. Get it while it's hot. Tandy, the biggest electronic store in Australia.
As you start your journey to Coco Fest, you notice the road ahead is littered with rogue furniture. You realize you are driving on the Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. The new game for the Tandy Color Computer 1, 2, and 3. Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. Stunning low-resolution visuals. Digital to analog converted sound. 100% machine language and basic. What are they saying about Nightmare Highway? Nightmare Highway. Steve B. York says, of all the games released this year, this is one of them. L. Kurt S. Boyle says, this will not be on my site. Nick Marionette says, crikey, look at the size of that crock. Get your complimentary copy of Nightmare Highway. Nightmare Highway. At cancanmakeit.com. If you got it for free, you paid too much.
Coming soon.
All situations depicted in this trailer actually happened.
This true story has been anonymized to protect the guilty. Starting in the dead of winter, a group of bored teenagers blew stuff up, learned code cracking, learned phone phreaking, hijacked and hacked. No system was safe. No one could catch them, or so they thought. A true story at the dawn of the internet. System hacked.
And I think, yeah, I do need to update that one. The System Hacked is no longer coming soon. System Hacked is available. I will need to re-edit that whole reel, and I will get to that eventually.
And
So
Forest
we're
of
back.
Doom is coming November 27th.
That's right, November 27th, some year, sometime, somewhere. All right, well, we're back for round two. It only took us an hour to get into introductions and acquisitions. So now for
Thank
hour
you, Samuel.
two.
I had no idea what Coco Thoughts was going to be about. Thanks, Samuel. That was...
I didn't either. It's always a surprise.
What was the little black thing that came down?
That was the Joey.
Oh,
the Joey.
That was the
Yeah, it was the
Joey.
Joey box with cables.
Yeah. I had an idea with Joey, so that was, I think that's their way of saying thank you for.
Okay. And we appreciate Ron Delvo. We appreciate your enthusiasm, and we appreciate John Strong sharing all of his stuff. So I didn't want to be rude, but it's too late. I already was. But we're back, and we will go ahead now. And speaking of rude, we're going to hear from David O'Connor. Where does that come from? Speaking of rude, but anyway,
Speaking of rude, here's David.
Speaking of rude,
You want me to be rude? I can be rude.
I don't
We
think you
haven't
got it
seen
in you.
Rude yet, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think David has it in him.
Why do we keep coming back every week?
I know. With friends like this, who needs enemas? All right.
Give
so,
it to us, Dave. Give it to us.
Dave's not here, man. Yeah, I don't think I've a show. I think this arrived after last week's episode. I can't remember. I posted it on Facebook. But what I've been after for a while, having gotten into my Coco One way back in the early '80s when I got my original one brand new and got the getting started and going ahead books and sitting down with them. They were actually really well done. I was actually, Tandy did a good job with those, Radio Shack. And so when I got my Coco 3 recently, I downloaded the PDF version of the Color Computer 3 extended book, but I've never been one to really get into reading books via PDF. It's always a bit sort of, scroll through it on a screen and try and find pages. I like to have a physical book in front of me. So I put a request out on the Facebook Coco group a couple of weeks ago, or maybe 3 weeks ago or something, to see if anybody had a spare copy of the Coco 3 extended basic book so I can learn all the new stuff that we can do on the Coco 3s that I never had, never got into in the day because I never had one. And lo and behold, Sheldon McDonald come to the party, and I now have a copy of Color Computer 3 extended basic in all its glory with all its
it is.
Program listings and everything. So that's a wonderful thing.
They
for
Sheldon. Yeah, they absolutely are amazing books, but I am also a little bit partial to the original ones for the Coco 1 and 2 that were kind of the wide format, bigger books. It was just instead of the taller ones, I liked the wider ones better for the Coco 1 and 2 basic and extended basic.
They were like that.
Yeah. So
instead of like that.
But it's a well written, well illustrated, easy to follow.
And David, I was going to mention too, Nick Marotta and I were seriously considering sending you the French versions of the manuals.
Yes, I do have.
Les CoCoTALK.
I'd have to. Oh yeah.
What I just found on my bookshelf.
Oh, look at that! Brian's got them all.
Oh, look, there we go.
Well, there's where they all went.
Yeah.
Wow, they're thick.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I did. I did learn French in high school, but that was many, many years ago, and my French is very, very rusty. About the only thing. No, that's German. I remember more. I can remember more German than I can French.
In France, I learned French from listening to an old Steve Martin routine, but chapeau means hat. it's like they've got it's like they've got a different word for everything.
We all spoke French when we first got the Coco 2. We would say, "What does the Coco do?
What does the Coco do?" Ron made it funny. Yes.
Sorry.
Cool. So that's your acquisition for the week is the Coco 3 physical manuals.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Brian Weasler's always got something good. Brian, but do you have Brian's topic that he posted on Facebook in the news, Curtis? Because that was a great discussion topic, I thought.
Which one was that?
The one he posted where it's like, what do you regret about your Coco? Like, if you could change one thing, what would you have done or not done?
Oh, no, I didn't put that in the news because that, like you said, is a discussion topic, and I didn't know if you had one pre-queued, so I didn't.
No. I just thought that was great. So, yeah, maybe we can go ahead
we
and
can
piggyback on that. So, no, I thought that was a great thing that Brian had. Brian, because it's just thinking of books. You can't think of books and not think of Brian Weasler at this point. He's become the Coco librarian. He's really big into collecting the books, which is cool. I like it. Just shameful plug for Coco Fest. Come to Coco Fest because you can get some really good deals on books. I mean, I've had some years where I had so many ones that I had to pay extra to fly my suitcase back, because I had so many books I shoved in there. I weighed down the plane. So yeah, you can get books plenty and books cheap at the auction at Coco Fest.
One I'm hoping he can get is the Don and Kurt Inman Tier City Semi-Language Graphics for the Color Computer book, which is probably one of the better ones for showing how to do Coco 1 and 2 graphics and sound, because that's what the book primarily focuses on, not learning how to do math.
Is that Rob Inman's?
We've asked. It's no relation. But if he can get it, I'm hoping to get it scanned because it seems to be very rare, unfortunately.
Yes. I'd like to get a copy of that one too. So,
which book was that?
Don and Kurt Inman's Semi-Language Graphics for the Tier City Color Computer. It's got a kind of a yellow, green, and blue cover. That helps you.
Be right back.
Uh-oh. If you have it, I got dibs. I got dibs.
Coco librarian.
I called dibs.
Probably has 4 of them.
Well, if he has 4, then
and he's
donate
gone.
one to get scanned.
Right. So while Brian is doing that, John Strong, did you have more? Sorry, I did cut you off, but you were showing us a lot, and I was getting overwhelmed and irritable. So
grumpy.
I'm grumpy, yes. So
and rude.
And rude.
Why don't you come on and go to the bathroom or something?
Yeah.
I've got to see if this will 4K screen will share. Okay, let me try it.
Because this is like one of those commercials where they used to show you a television and you watched a commercial for a new television on your television and like, does your TV look this good? And we're like, no, ours sucks, but gosh,
No, I'm looking at this on a black and white. What are you talking about?
I remember asking that question. I remember like when watching some TV show where it said, this show is in color. And I said, I go, Mom, it says the show is in color. Why isn't it in color on this TV?
Eat your peanut butter and shut.
Choosy moms choose Jeff.
Well,
hey man, if you have some of this,
I have to stop sharing. Sorry, John Strong.
Yeah,
I was being very selfish. Okay, I will now share. I will now let you share.
Okay, and so I want to.
He's concentrating. Look at.
I usually concentrate by sticking my tongue out. That's how I help concentrate. I find.
Bite your cheek or something.
I think we've seen that a lot on level 1.
We see that when you're walking through the show.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm sharing, and you see.
John Strong has started screen sharing. We're still waiting, but it's coming up. It might take a minute. 4K worth of data might take a long time.
Whatever that means.
Ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness. What are we looking
know
at
what
here?
that is.
This looks like the inside of a
That's
CPU.
innards.
It's a chip die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the
I found this
6809?
it's a 6809. I found it out in the web, and it kind of enhanced the color contrast a little bit.
Now let me ask you, I got a really dumb question. That is a square picture, but the 6809 is rectangular. Is this just the kind of the core or the die that goes in the middle, and the rest of that rectangle just like plastic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that always confused me. I saw a picture of the 6809 that was square, but the chip is rectangular, and I'm like, well, what's missing here?
You could only put
Rectangular
the pins.
portion of it is for all the pins, right?
So that's all silicon on there?
Yeah.
The ceramic part is just a pin holder, basically.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
plastic.
That's the silicon on there?
Yeah, if you look at a ROM chip, the ROM chips with the little glass windows in them, and you can actually see the square inside
EEPROM?
that glass window.
Okay.
Yeah,
EEPROM?
EEPROMs. Yeah, sorry, EEPROMs. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, and
So-
so I found that and enhanced it.
That looks really good.
Okay.
That looks
And
really
then
good,
the
man.
other one I found is the 6847.
That's the VDG. Huh?
Ah,
Okay.
video
Now,
chips.
it does look like this one has been, when they decapped it, it's been scratched along here. Okay. But not quite as good as the image as the other, but you can actually see the 6847.
Now, can you see the correction we need to get a black border on the graphic screens?
It's in there.
Yeah. So,
That's
so
not a
that's it.
T1?
I have
This is a
no
regular
idea.
6847, I'm presuming. Not
Yeah,
the T1 version.
I'm assuming that, but
Yeah, there's no
not much
lowercase module in there.
you know,
Can't
not
see any
much
lowercase
information on
characters
it.
there.
And then you see the Motorola emblem over here to the right on it. And so a guy from Vintage Teardown did this one.
So that's
That's
some
neat.
tiny letters there then. MC6847.
Yeah, in the upper left.
Oh yeah, very
upper
small
left,
silk
yeah.
silk screening. Yeah. And
And
again,
so-
this is the actual core component that goes in the middle of that big rectangular piece
Yeah.
of plastic that we're used to
Yeah.
seeing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That's actually
so-
the bit that does all the work.
Yeah.
So would you say that this is antique compared to the center of the new processors we have now?
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah, the
just
new
like
ones
a
are all
tiny
micro-coded and
portion.
stuff here. This is hardwired.
The gate density is tremendously less density than on newer chips.
So how much
Oh, yeah.
magnification would you say there is here? Like 50 or 100?
It depends on the size of your screen you're looking at it, Ron.
Usually the cores, Ron, are only about 3 or 4 millimeters square.
Yeah, you know, quarter inch, something like that. They're not very
Yeah.
big. So
That's pretty common size.
okay, so it's not.
You
it's
can
not very
usually
big.
you can tell by the pads around the outsides of it. There's off each of those pads is a little fine wire, and that little fine wire, the black bit, that's usually less than the thickness of a human hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that goes to each pin on the chip
That
on the
goes to the
exterior.
pins themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's just. I'm planning to make a poster of this
No, that's neat.
available for people. And
6809. Is it in you? That's cool.
And so-
That is really colorful.
and
So the 6309 would look slightly different somehow.
It would look quite
think?
different because it's micro-coded.
yes,
The 6809 is the last one Motorola did that was actually hand designed. Like they had,
Yeah.
like CAD type stuff where they did drafting to lay out where every single wire on there goes by hand design.
Is
Whereas
that why
after
it's
that, they
not-
started using microcoding, which is like basically reprogrammable, like mini FPGAs.
When you say micro coating or coding?
Coding.
Like
COD.
program coding.
So so you could tell that some of the parts in this thing aren't quite level or straight. They're at angles, and it kind of looks
Well,
like
well, here's the thing: is they're doing this with close up as with microscopes, and then it's being stitched back together. Okay, to make the full image.
Now, this was still machine tool, though. There wasn't a human being hand wiring this stuff, right?
No way.
No.
And so what Curtis is referring to, they would make a large mask, okay, that they would actually hand tape lines of tape on it to indicate different there. And they'd have these layers of these masks to do different parts of the chip. And these would be on a large glass mask, and then it would be photographically reduced and projected down to a really small size on a resist on the silicon chip, and then they do the diffusion of the different chemicals and stuff in there to create the different gates and so on.
So are we seeing memory on there? Those squares or those rectangular things? Are those memory?
You know, register memory would be the only memory on here.
Yeah, well, it'd be the ROM part for the
James drifting that for here.
Yeah, you'd have the ROM section for the character set.
Yeah,
and I'm not familiar with these enough. I see some regularly, kind of areas that kind of look similar, and so something like that might be your ROMs, but I don't know, enough about it to.
Well, the 6809 wouldn't have ROMs. The VDG would have the ROM character set on it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's 69. Okay, that's very, that's very evenly patterned sections here. So I'm not sure what they're doing there, but
they'd be probably registers or something like that. Maybe the 16-bit registers.
It could be their adders to do addressing and things like that.
Yeah. If you want to see kind of what the design was like, if you go back to the original Byte magazines when they announced the 6809, they actually have pictures of them holding up the sheets of plastic, giving the map guideline of how these things are built. John was mentioning, you can actually see them holding up, like here's one little small corner of it, and it's like 3 feet by 4 feet or something with just tons of wiring diagrams on it.
Just to give you an idea of the difference between like a modern processor and this processor here, the 6809 had 9,000 transistors on it. The Intel Core i9, which is like their latest processor, has 8 cores, and its total transistor count is in the neighborhood of 1.736 billion transistors.
Wow.
So there's
it's an order of magnitude larger.
Several orders
of magnitude.
All right. So how is it that we can only get under 2 megahertz on ours, and theirs is so billions of transistors, and they can go, hundreds of gigahertz?
Well,
theirs are a lot smaller.
Lower voltage.
We're also not going hundreds of gigahertz. We're going single digits of gigahertz.
What I'm.
Yeah, because when you because you have crosstalk for each one of these lines, okay, and so when you lower the voltage, you get less crosstalk, so that helps.
Also, less heat.
Yes, that less heat.
Right.
If they'd be running those at the higher voltages, they would just melt down.
So does the 6309 use less voltage?
Oh yeah.
No, 6309 is the same as 6809. Yeah.
Uses less current though, because it's CMOS instead of NMOS.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's that? Well, explain the difference of that.
Okay.
One starts with a C, one starts with an N.
Okay.
Well, how dumb.
Okay, if you compare it to water, okay, a water hose, okay, voltage is the pressure in your water line, okay? Current is how much water can flow through your line.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Okay, and so, you can have a lot of pressure in a line and just have a really small hole, okay? And so you can have just a little tiny stream coming up, or you can have a fire hydrant, you got a whole lot of water coming out, okay? And it may not be as much pressure as that small hole, okay? So that's kind of the difference between voltage and the other. And together, you to get the same wattage, you can change, in a ratio between the voltage and the current and still maintain the same wattage. And so, and that's why we use AC instead of DC for house wiring.
The other thing that makes a massive difference to the current consumption and the speed of the chips too is the actual size of the transistors. If you think about how many more they're feeding in, not just the size of the transistors, but the electrical efficiency of them. Modern transistors on modern CPUs require far less current to switch them on and off than what old transistors do, because they're much more efficient. And even though there's a lot more of them, because they require so much less current, each transistor, if you have like billions of the things and they drain a fraction of the current of even one transistor on the old ones, then the whole chip will drain a lot less current and be able to operate a lot faster.
So, it says 68B09. What's the B?
Faster than a 6809.
That has
2
to do
megahertz
with
rated.
maximum speed. The maximum speed it's certified for.
So
yeah.
And the E on the end of it, there's a 6809 and a 6809E. The E stands for external clock.
So we have a B hole and an A hole.
There's a C also.
Well, the C's on the.
Who's the a-hole, Ron?
I guess I am.
Unexpected humor from Ron Delvaux.
Yes.
Stevie, can I share my screen for a sec? I just found a picture from the original Byte magazine. I just
Yeah,
wanted
John
to show
will
what
have
the-
to stop sharing his. Can you stop sharing, John? Or
Okay, if I find
Good
out
job,
how.
John.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very cool.
Let me see if I can stop that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how to do it because it's not showing me. Okay.
I know there's a way
Stop
to do it.
video.
Not video, but
Should be at the top there. View
I'll
options.
share.
stop participant sharing. I got it for you. Okay.
I just found stop share. So I
Okay,
just,
go ahead, L. Curtis.
Okay, can you guys see that?
I can see that.
Oh wow, yeah.
Nice.
So that's what one of the many sheets that made up the 6809 design look like, and they have to actually like hand draw all those to figure out what all has to connect to get gates connected, etc. And that was the last chip Motorola did that fashion.
That looks like
That's a massive task. That's a huge.
You
task.
are now here.
Yeah, you are here. Your data is here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you're talking.
And that's the emulator board they used to test the chip design.
You're talking a difference of like back in the mid 70s, they were between say 6 and 3 micrometers was the size of the traces on the board, whereas today they're down into the like
nano
5 to 7 nanometers.
Nanometer.
Yeah,
which you're talking. That's
and that's 1,000 times difference between, right?
Yeah.
Or is it a million?
Let's see, micro, micro, nano. So,
Micro
yeah.
and nano is 1,000, and then
1,000
nano
times
to
smaller.
yeah.
Right. Well,
And
the problem,
nano to pico is another 1,000. So yeah.
the problem though, when you go say from 3 microns to 2 microns, it's a bigger jump than going from say 3 nanometers to 2 nanometers because it's 1,000 times smaller. Every time you get smaller, your jump is smaller as well too.
Yeah.
So they're starting to bump into, okay, they're at
Quantum
10 nanometers.
quantum effects and stuff. Yeah.
What's the big deal going to 7 because you're only going 3 nanometers smaller,
Well, I believe
So back in the early days, the jumps were big, but nowadays the jumps are small, and they're starting to do different technologies like stacking transistors one on top of the other, and the so-called 3D transistors.
Basically 3D boards, 3D chips.
Yeah, exactly. So to try and keep Moore's law going, but they're literally physically running out of the capacity to make transistors physically smaller. They're starting to hit the wall.
Limit of physics. I mean, we're starting to hit the fact
limits,
we've got atoms and electrons individually
there
jumping
is-
wires because they're so small.
There is hope, though. There is hope. I've just got this in, but Jason, the Coco Man Reichert of cocoman.biz, has figured out a way to have an adapter box that will connect the Hadron Collider to your Coco. And with the flip of a switch, you can start funneling electrons in either direction.
Now, even more important than that, what Australian name is he using to describe this product? That's what
It's the it's the exactly. It's the crikey.
Crikey, look
crikey.
at
the quantum crikey.
That's what the switch looks like.
Look how many pulls are on that switch. Crikey.
Yes. We've hit this wall a couple times. We hit this wall in the Pentium world when we were like Pentium 1, Pentium 2, Pentium 3, Pentium 4. Everybody thought there was going to be a Pentium 5, or am I saying that right? Pentiums, yeah, right. So remember the Pentiums? Yes, the Pentium 4 running around 4 gigahertz. That's when we hit our first wall because using that level of engineering, laws of physics couldn't be pushed. And then that's when they started getting into the Core 2 Duo line, which in 2005, where they said, okay, well, now we're going from the old muscle car 8-cylinder mentality to more of the hybrid, where we're still going to reach the same speeds, but we're not going to do it with as much torque or whatever the case was. So, it's constantly been a re-engineering of things because the laws of physics so far we can't exceed those, right? So you can only make electricity travel so far before it either gets too hot or cross-talks its neighbors, and there's all these other things that get in the way with circuit designs that the more you try to push it, eventually you're gonna reach that.
And the
point.
gigahertz limit is why a lot of the chips now are all multi-core to get it extra.
Just to get more performance out of the same
parallel
speed.
processing as opposed to trying to get the same core running faster and faster.
Right, because if you've noticed, they really haven't increased the speed much in the last what, 10, 12 years or so.
Yeah, because when the Core 2 Duo first came out, we went from a 4 gigahertz speed. We actually reached 3-4 gigahertz speeds on the Pentium 4 line. And then we went down to like 1.8 gigahertz. So all of a sudden our speed got cut in half because it was a whole new design. And it took a while for that speed to come back up. So it's kind of been this ebb and flow. Now it's just more cores and hyper threading and throwing more cache at it. And
hey, so didn't Jim Brain come up with a dual 6809 processor board or something?
Yeah, CoCoProc, I think he calls it.
Yeah, and
I believe the Australian name for that is the Didgeridoo.
So how did that work? Did they have to have a memory manager or some kind of a manager to go between the two?
Yeah, they share static RAM, from what I remember correctly. So they both can write to it simultaneously. But Jim would have to explain. That's hardware. I don't know that much. There was a shared RAM between the two on the board. I know that.
The Fairlight CMI, the Australian designed big sampler of the 80s. It was on everything. It was on all Michael Jackson's hits. It was on all the biggest hits. Featured this Fairlight CMI musical instrument, and that had a dual core, or not dual core, but dual 6809 CPUs in it. And they were selling for the price of a small house at the time.
Yeah. Well, the Fujitsu FM 777 computer actually had dual 6809s back in the 80s too, the Japanese one.
Just think about today's technology with, the billions of transistors that we can put on a chip. I think if you wanted to put as many 68, at 9,000 transistors per CPU, think about how many, 6809s you could cram on a modern die. With
you probably put a dozen on the head of a pin.
Hey,
well,
Brian,
I mean, you look at what you can do with an emulator. You can run, how many emulators could you run on one Windows computer or Mac or whatever? Even on a phone, you could run multiple emulators at once.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brian, the Music Man Schubring, did you find the book, the Ron and Don and Kurt Inman Assembly Language Graphics and Sound for the Color Computer? Because if you did, I called dibs on it. I want it. I want to buy it from you.
No, I didn't. I might have something stored away someplace else. This is what I found so far.
Okay, what do you got?
It sounds like he's calling from the Nightmare Highway.
OS 9 is crap. You can throw that away.
Did you find Inspector Gadget?
Stevie being rude.
Stevie, can you zoom up the screen for the audience?
Let's do that. Let me spotlight. Hold on.
You lose your lower third there, Stevie.
Okay, we're spotlighting you. Okay. Color Computer Assembly Language and Coco
I had that one.
Yeah,
the
William
Barton Jr. one.
I've still got it.
Coco Extravaganza. Yes.
I might have something stuck somewhere else. I thought I had one with graphics around it. It's kind of like this one here, but with the multicolors on it.
Okay.
Can you say Nightmare Highway for us?
Yeah, can you say Nightmare Highway?
Yeah.
Are you going to get...
Nightmare Highway.
Okay, hold that cue. Okay, I'm going to make an announcement, and then when I'm done saying Nightmare Highway, you're going to say again in that voice, okay? So hold on 1 second. You ready? All right, so today, in honor of Nick Marotta's birthday, if you go to the website canmakeit.com, copies of Nightmare Highway are 100% free today, celebrating Nick Marotta's birthday. Thank you. All right. So.
Awesome. Is that better?
Yeah.
Are you going to get us next time?
I thought maybe you needed a lozenge.
You needed
or
a
something.
lozenge. You need a lozenge.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time.
Need a
I
spittoon.
flipped the wrong switch. Sorry, guys.
that made for great radio there.
Yes, Nightmare Highway.
I hope you recorded that.
Yeah,
someone has.
It's on YouTube.
The
So we can pull it from
NSA
there.
is listening into us right now. Hey,
We're going to save it for our posterior.
Okay. Okay, so we've gone around the room. We've talked about projects. We've talked about updates. We've talked about our hopes and dreams. Have we mentioned today's Nick Marotta's birthday? Have we mentioned that at all? Does anybody remember if I mentioned that? I don't remember.
Do we have a tune to go along with that?
I'm not
Happy
sure.
birthday, Nick.
We may or may not have a tune right now for
Nick
that.
Alvin.
Happy birthday, Nick Marotta, to you. $5 ukulele. Happy birthday, Nick Mother effing Marotta.
No.
Happy birthday to you. It's Nick Marotta's birthday.
It's the
Nick
way
Marotta.
Stevie shows friendship.
Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. All right. So we said it 3 times.
That's beautiful.
Name so nice, we must say it thrice. So yes,
Thrice.
we are celebrating the birthday of Nick Marotta. May
So
he
does that
rest
mean
in
we're going to
peace.
sing? We're going to sing. We're going to sing "Happy Birthday" 3 times now.
Yes.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
Speaking of thrice and Steve Strobridge colloquialisms, last week I was watching Saturday Night Live, and they had a sketch where I guess they were selling a British paint, and a woman kept pronouncing it "Colour."
Colour.
The other
Colour.
person was like, "Are you pronouncing the U?" And she's like, "Yes, I am." And
Colour.
that made me think
Colour.
of Stevie.
Colour. We celebrate the Colour computer, and we're not sorry either. So, hey, Brian, you were supposed to be running
And that's what
audio.
it's all about.
Yeah, you were supposed to be running audio spectrum analyzer back there, Brian. What happened? You
All the kids are doing it.
all the cool kids are doing it. Yeah. Although
Hey, I'm a cool kid, but I'm even more cool. I'm doing acronoids.
acanoids, accolades. What are you doing there? You doing-
Acanoids.
Acanoids. Is that something? Is that what you take when you get an upset stomach? Hey kids,
No,
take an
Too
acanoid.
long watching this program, you'll get acanoids.
It means you can't sit down for a long time or something.
That's right.
You
have to get some
preparation.
There's an ointment for that.
Donut.
Hey,
Doctor, I've
Stevie.
got a bad case of acanoids. Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Stevie,
Hey, there's the book I'm talking about.
Yes, John.
Mark Overholzer has it.
Can I share screen for a second?
You can share screen. Mark Overholzer, if you'd like to part with that book, I would love to be the recipient of it at some point in time.
Not really, but I
Don't
do
take
that.
it from him.
Scan it.
Scan it at the very least.
Scan it. Okay.
Really?
Go,
Stop and
go ahead,
scan?
John Lowry. John Lowry
Alrighty.
is going to share. Today's the
Give me
day of
one
sharing.
second here.
Definitely scan it. I'll be into a copy of that too if you scan it.
Baby.
Oh, I'm gonna have to quit and restart. I'll be right back.
It's because you're running an Apple, dude. All right. There he's got his Acanoids cartridge right there. There you go.
Thank you.
Very
Simulated
good, very
3D.
Well, when John Lowry comes back, we will look at that. So we're gonna go to news after that. What else can we do right now? Which book was that? Ken Reichert is asking. You want to hold it up again? It is
Yeah, zoom up the screen.
Assembly Language Graphics for the TRS-80 Color Computer by Don Inman and Kurt Inman. This is what Curtis Boyle recommends if you want to learn how to make video games and game-specific graphic specific.
Yeah, they
things.
do a kind of a mini Space Invaders, the basis of a Space Invaders game in the book.
Okay.
It shows you how to do moving the shapes and everything else too. So
Okay.
how to do joystick, sound, and graphics. That's what it's primarily focused on.
Joystick, sound, and graphics.
So that hasn't been archived on the archive yet, on the Coco archive?
Not that I remember seeing before, unless it's come up recently and I haven't checked recently. But the two authors there, they were a father-son team, and they actually wrote articles for Rainbow quite a bit too.
Oh yeah, they wrote them for other stuff. I have them for the Apple also. They have one for the Apple too, as well.
Yeah, no. If you're able to scan that, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people grateful in the Coco community.
I didn't realize it had been scanned. I don't really have a good scanner. Anybody have a good scanner?
Okay.
Tim Linder does.
I've got a good scanner, but you'd have to post it to Australia. I could post it back.
Use reship or ship or whatever the thing we found is.
Yeah, Mark,
Yeah,
Tim
yeah,
Linder,
yeah.
whom you've been to at the West Coast
Right.
Computer Fair, there, he's got good scanners.
Okay, I might ship it to Tim Linder then.
What does that say there? I can't.
It says Joe Evans, Dayton Coco Users Group.
Okay, Stevie, can I take screen share?
Go ahead. You have the comms, Mr. Sulu.
Alrighty. Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yeah, see the show. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
show within a show right now. It is.
Alrighty.
It's an inception. going on.
That's what I wanted to show you. Is
Oh.
this is a 40-pin chip that's about the size of a 6809.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And
okay,
that's the die itself, and
Oh,
then
so
all
we're only
these.
like 40 power.
So these are those wires that are coming off of it that make their way to the 40 pins on the plastic piece or ceramic piece.
That one's actually ceramic with gold.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you
If
can
you see
actually
the-
just
if you
with
see
your
the-
naked eye, you can see the different sections of the
Yeah,
chip.
yeah.
Modern chips, you
Yeah.
couldn't get that level of detail. I mean, you could see kind of different sections.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't have
yeah.
the level of detail that you see here. But if I can, where was
If I
that?
could turn back time.
If you turn that chip sideways, is it about halfway down in the plastic?
What's that?
Oh,
yeah,
depth
it's
wise.
probably in the neighborhood of about halfway down.
They sandwich two pieces of plastic.
Yeah, here we go. This is similar to what John Strong was showing us before.
Yeah. So like this picture here, I can tell you right here, this stuff around here, these are the registers around the bottom part here. And then this section here is going to be your decoder, which like when you do a load A instruction or something like that, that's being decoded in here.
Well, how do you know that?
From doing reading on how CPUs work.
Oh.
Okay.
The bits around the bits around the bottom, those diagonal bits around the bottom, they're actually the wires that come off the die and go to the
those
the
white
other part of the chip
lines
to go to the legs. Yeah, yeah.
Right, but these chunks right here are the actual registers.
Oh, you're just inside the wires. Sorry, I thought you were pointing
Yeah.
to the wires. I thought no, gotcha.
And then this section here is going to be your logic unit where all the math is done.
That's neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if you know how when they show the brain and different parts of the brain light up when they're working.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've ever done that with a CPU like that.
They've done it with heat.
6502.
In specific, they've done it with heat too. Even on modern CPUs, they can kind of see like what parts of the chip are running most often. Just by heat signature.
Awesome. That would be a neat screensaver to have like a CPU and a color animated CPU on your screen. You know?
Or you can use a smoke method that Ron Delvaux used on his Model 3 there. That works too.
Okay, fine.
These reefer caps.
It never happened on any of my CoCos.
Oh, here it is.
You don't want to smoke that stuff though; it'll kill you.
Okay,
this is the visual 6502.
Oh wow, look at that!
Which you can actually, what they did. There's a really good article on YouTube where they showed how they built this. They decapped the chip, and then they literally took like a 3D modeling program and made each trace as a physical 3D element. And then they wound up building this Java 6502 emulator from it. It actually runs when you run it here. You can see there's numbers getting stored in various registers. It's actually going kind of fast. I don't know if there's a way to slow it down.
That's really cool.
Can you tell that this chip doesn't have as many transistors as the 6809?
6502, I'm not sure exactly how many it has.
Yeah, it's quite a bit less than 6809. It's more like a 6800.
Yeah, it's probably in the neighborhood of half or so. Yeah. But you can see the actual, the code over here on the right-hand side. You can actually change it and execute your code.
And see that parts of the chip light up.
That A9, I believe, is load the A register. And then, so it's loading from memory location 2000. So see the 20 and then the 00 right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little endian where the smaller number comes first, and then the most significant byte is second.
Or bass backwards, as we Motorola people call it.
Right, big endian. The right way is big endian. So in a color computer,
are
the
we
load
referring
A
to
would be
a Native American reference here? Okay.
Endian, not Indian.
Oh, okay.
So load the A register from the memory location 2000. I can tell you that's probably what that stands for, because I was just watching a Ben Eater video, and it involved the 6502, and I remember A9 stood for load the A register. And so I'm not 100% sure if the A9 means load the A register from a memory location or with an immediate value. If it's an immediate value, it would be load A with 0. If it's load A from a memory location, it's going to be loading from the memory location 2000. I think that's what's going on there. But
Can you show us?
Execute.
Can you show us with your cursor where the origination of the smoke coming out would be?
Hey, Stevie.
Yeah, I just found it. So RetroEng added DIYBookscanner.org. Is that what you're going to tell me, Mark, or no?
No, actually, this was about the term Big Indian and Little Indian.
Okay.
Comes from the book Gulliver's Travels, about the people who eat the eggs from the large side or the small side.
Oh.
Okay.
I did not know that.
I thought he was saying Indian, so
my life
Indian,
has been
little
made
Indian,
full.
And
Indian.
Indian.
All I know is big endian is the right way.
Yes,
And
exactly.
little endian is the wrong way.
Okay.
Mainly because the two processors I've worked on, the 6809 and the Z80, are both big endian.
And the 68000 series is big endian too.
There's a reason there's a reason on the 6502 why it's little Indian. It requires less cycles to load stuff in certain cases.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we just had direct page for that. So yeah.
Wouldn't a big Indian be a chief?
That's what I was thinking. So just so you know, Mark Overholzer, so Retro Eng in the live chat was pointing us to a website called DIYBookscanner.org.
Yes, I was looking that up.
So that may or may not be helpful to you, but thanks for that share there.
You got to hold each page up to your living room window.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the video that I had watched that had led me to that Visual 6502.
Okay.
If you just look up Visual 6502, you can find this.
Okay.
It runs in Java. You can download it, and then if you want to watch this YouTube video, this talks about how they did it, and it's about a little under an hour-long video. Just look up reverse engineering the MOS 6502.
If you ever have any difficulty sleeping, you can go ahead and put that on. So.
Now somebody was asking earlier about the number of transistors. From what that's saying, the 6502 is 3,510, and the 6809 had like 9,000, so we had 3 times as many transistors.
Wow, crazy! Isn't that something?
Hurrah!
Yeah, and what was the like 4,004?
Less than 6502, wasn't it? It's only 4 bits.
Terry Steed says, just for fun, I'm building a 6309 using relays and vacuum tubes. I'm getting 800 amp servers installed at my house to run it.
800 amps, is that all? I think you would have needed like 800 megawatts or something.
Hey, Amigos Retro Gaming just joined us. What's going on, guys?
The Intel 4004, essentially the first CPU, 2,300 transistors.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like
300 transistors.
What about the Z80? Is that listed in there?
Paul Fiscarelli says he's building a 6809 out of redstone, so that would be interesting to see a 6809 in Minecraft, huh? So, number of transistors in the Z80. Make sure you pronounce it properly. Z80. 4.5K.
The Z80 had 8,500. I don't know about the Z80.
The what?
What did he say?
What?
I delivered it in my Z28 car too.
Have you ever listened to that group with the beards called ZZ Top?
ZZ Top,
yeah. That's the Australian version.
So how do you say the number?
Maybe ZZ Bottom.
How do you say the number 7 with the bar on it?
That's the Zevin.
Seven.
It's a Zevin.
It's the Australian ZZ Top. They play didgeridoos instead of guitars.
Really going crazy about a sharp dress kangaroo.
Wouldn't it be didgeridoo?
Didgeridoo. All right. So enough transistor talk. Let's move on to something more exciting. Good stuff.
Well, this is pretty exciting. Come on.
Is it really? What does Ronnie Chong have to say about all this?
How do I stop sharing?
I don't think he cares,
man.
I don't think he cares.
It's the smoke, man.
But I didn't inhale, man.
All right, so we're gonna run a commercial break, and then we're gonna be back with news from. Let's make an executive decision.
Yeah, I'll officially put the rest of you to sleep now if anybody's still awake.
So executive decision. So Brian Weasler had the topic of Coco. What is it called? Hold on, let's look it up in Discord under our news topic and suggestions in Discord. Brian also posted that. News topic is suggestions. Let's pull up the link. It was from, my goodness, there's just way too much content in here. I can't keep up with it. Is this news topic? That's host discussion. Hold on, we have a separate chat room for that. We have news topic and suggestions.
Are you saying there's too many chat rooms?
Yeah, we have too much going on in Discord. Okay. So,
too much to do.
So this was it here from our friend, your friend and our friend, Brian Weasler. So this was the topic he posted on Facebook where he says, okay, Coco Time Machine, if you could go back in time, I hear share in the back of my head right now. If you could go back in time.
Sharing is caring.
And do something different in your Coco history, what would it be? He goes, I'm not looking for things like change the history of Tandy, but just you. Like, I wish I would have kept that book or device. I wish I could have learned or finished that. For me, it would be learning assembly language programming. So that is the host discussion topic. So my question to you, when we come back from commercial break, would you like to do that discussion first or news first? Because after that, we're out of show, folks. So
I'd like to do the discussion first.
You like to do that? Is that okay? So L. Curtis voted, but
while people are still awake.
It is Nick. It is Nick Marotta's birthday. The universe revolves around him. What would Nick Marotta like to do when we come back from the break?
I do like hearing my name, apparently. So, I think the discussion topic next is cool. I like closing with news.
Okay.
Okay. I thought Nick was going to say, we don't need a discussion topic and we don't need news. Let's just talk about him for.
Yeah.
See, you misunderstand me. Like
Yeah, I'm smoking my Sharpie, man.
Hey, man. So, as we celebrate the birthday of Nick Marotta. Okay, so we're going to take a break. What are we going to break with? We're going to break with
a Kit Kat.
Well, if we're up to me,
Nick?
If I get a choice, I like Fletcher.
Okay, well, the birthday boy wants Fletcher, so we're going to Fletcher.
Hi, it's Curtis Boyle, part of the CoCoTALK crew of people.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Noble, co-author of Nitrous 9. You are listening to CoCoTALK Live, the leading live CoCoTALK show.
Good day, mates. This is Nick Marionettes, author of such colour computer titles as Donut Disaster, Rupert Rhymes, and Rockstar Pilot. And I am here today to tell you about the world's most fabulous operating system, OS 9. OS 9 and its current incarnation, Nitrous 9, is the most advanced operating system ever created. And what makes it so good? Ease of use. I find OS 9 so incredibly intuitive that I haven't once cracked open the user manual. And yet I've been able to create such incredible games faster than the time it takes to sing Waltzing Matilda. Using OS 9, I expect my next game, Funstar, will be done this weekend and distributed exclusively on ROM cartridge. OS 9 forever.
Any resemblance to actual events to persons living or dead is purely coincidental.
Radio Shack has a great gift idea for the whole family. Fast action TV games, and they're on sale. Get this 6-game model for $29.95 or the 4-game model for $21.95. With rising entertainment cost, that's a real bargain. You play hockey, tennis, squash, and more. Easy to hook up and great family fun that lasts all year long. The sale price TV games. Only at Radio Shack, a Tandy company.
Hi there, this is Mark Overholzer, and you're watching CoCoTALK, the world's leading weekly talk show where you can join in. Hey, come watch us and see what's happening in the world of Coco.
CoCoTALK is brought to you in part by Placeblex Dietary Supplement. Placeblex, we think it works, so will you.
CoCoTALK, c'est le coq champignon, des micros et dans le pion. Pour le jeu, il n'y a pas d'attente, les études, c'est pas bizarre. L'expansion est dans les commandes, tu vas voir ça. Notre Coco est contrôlable, pour tes cours, c'est bien serviable. Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac.
Un ordinateur couleur qui a de la personnalité. Le Coco 2 de Radio Shack. On solde pour Noël à partir de 149,95.
Coco 2 de Radio Shack, ton affaire est dans le sac, c'est toi et Coco 2.
Hello, this is Grant Leedy with CoCoTALK. Got your Coco 3 yet?
From the makers of the Switcheroo. Wallaby cable, Color Computer 3 dual RGB cable. Get yours today at cocoman.biz.
Fletcher, I don't need that report tomorrow.
Great, JT.
I need it tonight.
But JT...
Fletcher saved $300 on her office away from the office. Radio Shack's revolutionary Model 100 computer. It's a word processor, phone directory, and dialer. It even communicates with the office computer.
Fletcher, how's that report? Fletcher.
Radio Shack's Model 100. Save $300 and put it to work.
You'll go far, Fletcher. You'll go far.
We now return you to CoCoTALK.
His name is JT, man.
All right, well, this is just in. This is just in. Apparently, there's been a new commercial for the Joey that I did not know about, and I didn't get a chance to update in my broadcast software. So we're going to do it live here. I'm just going to pull it up and run it.
You're sure?
Tired of switching your joystick between the left and right port?
Hold on a second. It showed up on the wrong screen. Here we go.
Jason, this isn't the red label version of the commercial, is it?
Yeah, this one's suitable for broadcast.
Oh, okay,
this is the world premiere of the Joey commercial, folks.
Tired of switching your joystick between the left and right port? Want to change between different controllers? Well, Joey has got you covered. The Joey controller switch. Take control of your controllers with the flip of...
Uh-oh.
The flip of what? We'll never know.
I'm having serious problems with my Google Drive. Sorry about that.
To be continued.
To be continued.
It's not driving too well.
Oh, you know what?
Oh.
He's not here, man.
It's the flip of A.
It's the flip of two switches, I believe.
Where's Dave, man?
Yeah.
He's not here.
No.
It's a flip of two switches.
All right.
Dave's not here.
So the host discussion topic was Coco Time Machine. If you could turn back time, what do you wish you would have changed or done or not done differently? That is the discussion topic. Who would like to go first and share their Coco regrets with us all?
You want to just go around the panel in order, or what?
That sounds far too organized for me. I prefer chaos. How about we start with the birthday boy, because the world does begin and end with Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta. Nick Marotta, do you have any Coco turn back time? If I could only, should have only, could have, should have, would have.
Considering I had pretty much almost everything that we've talked about in the show in terms of old hardware and that, I got rid of everything really stupidly, and I regret it to this day because I had to multi-pack, and anything you could name almost, I seem to have acquired, and just got rid of it all. And it to the point where I actually dreamed. I had dreams at night through the years. I still had my Coco, so I regretted it that much. So having gotten new Cocos now, those dreams have stopped. So I mean, I'm happy that I'm back in the Coco world, but I'm still gonna regret that I got rid of all that other stuff.
Absolutely.
But who knew that you guys were going to be, 40 years in the future, we're going to have another resurgence of Coco activity. Like, you can't predict that. So, but I'm glad that we're here.
Yeah, Sean Ernst just
Absolutely.
joined us.
Totally.
So Nick regrets getting rid of his physical Coco inventory.
Yes.
What about
Before we go on to the next one, I just want to mention a really good joke I thought that Tim Franklin put in when I made the earlier comment about it being the red label version. He goes, if it's a red label version, just press reset until it's blue.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that works.
Or hold down F1 if you're
in a Coco Trois.
Coco 3.
Yeah. Rondell Vo, you've got lots of things. You have more inventory than you probably have regrets. But
I have more than a human being should be allowed to have.
He regrets not having a bigger garage, I think that's what he can say.
I might say that back in the day, back in the 80s, I had a Model 1 that was gray, probably seen pictures of it, and I took it and put it into a DT, a Model 4 data terminal, empty shell.
Okay.
Put it in there. I had it working. I put a black and white TV in it, and it had drives, and it worked, and it was cool. And then one day I was carrying it out to the truck for something to go to the computer show or club meeting or something, and I dropped it. and the case bit my hand, and I had like 15 stitches in my hand from that sucker. So it was bleeding like mad. You could see the inside of my hand. It was terrible. So I have a color computer injury
Okay,
on my hand.
How did the
from it.
Coco fare, though? Did the Coco survive the job?
Yeah, the important
Well,
part of this is how to.
I put it in the garage for a long while and didn't mess with it, and it wound up getting flooded, and I had to throw it away because it got ruined. But I wish I had that again still, even with my collection of things. It would have been neat to have and to share with others and so on. But otherwise, I have lots of Cocos. I've always used my machines. I never regretted keeping them all these years. And eventually, probably as I grow old and bent over and can't do things anymore, maybe I'll have to get...
Ron's not here, man.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You never know.
What about Mark D. Overholzer? Even if it's not Coco related, I'm sure you have some. If I could turn back time, what would I have done differently? And,
I do have one small Coco one. I've only been in the Coco since 2012. I mean, I got this Coco 3 new in box with an Apple IIe Platinum and a bunch of games. That's why I kind of got into the Coco. But there is one thing. I had an offer at one point to get a high-res joystick adapter from somebody for a very reasonable price, and I never followed up on it. But the big one that I let get away, I bought back in the 80s. I had bought an Apple IIe in the early 80s, and then a Commodore SX64 portable, and then I got an Apple IIc with the monitor and a case. And then I picked up a portable case. The Apple IIc is real interesting in that the power supply is not built in. It actually is external. And so I found this thing called the Prairie Power Pack, which was a lead acid battery that would power the Apple IIc. So it was portable. Huh. And I also got the flat screen for the Apple flat screen, which is kind of squished vertically. It's half height. But anyway, so I had a complete portable Apple IIc setup and then a monitor for home. I wound up selling it on a commission so I could fund my first IBM PC. So really regret getting rid of the Apple IIc with the flat screen.
Interesting.
Have the IBM though?
Actually, no, it died in a house fire in 2005, unfortunately.
Well, the spirit of his keyboard lives on with you because we hear.
A house fire is very traumatic. My sister had one. Is. And it's a tough thing. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I had actually moved out of there, long out of there, but I left some stuff there. I just never cleaned it all up. So I also lost all my 45 records.
Out.
And the other thing that I really missed, a friend of mine had given me this Intel development system. It was a big blue box with 8-inch floppies. It was called MDS. I think it was MDS. Anyway, it was a development system. It had like 8085 and an 8086 in it, and cross compilers and assemblers for all kinds of stuff. It was for development system that was scrapped, and it was like a big blue box with a screen and a keyboard and a built-in 8-inch floppy, and then 2 external floppies and a whole box of discs. It's like that would be a very cool piece of equipment to have.
So you lost that in the fire?
Yeah, I lost that too.
Oh, gee.
That'd be pretty rare too. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
What about L. Curtis? If you could turn back time.
Well, I'm all depressed now.
Yeah, what kind of birthday is this? Whose idea was this? No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry, Nick.
Our fearless leader.
For the most part, I don't have any regrets. I mean, the Cocos treated me quite well. I got my career out of it. We got to run the Coco to work for a decade and an extra year or two past that. The one regret, I guess, is that I didn't get into OS9 and assembly language in OS9 specifically until when I did, which would have been about 86, 87. If I'd learned it a little bit earlier when the level 1 and the Coco 1 was out, I might have been involved with the level 2 upgrade, because all the big OS9 gurus at the time, and there was about a dozen of them, joined together with Tandy and Microware to do the upgrade that never got released because Tandy then canceled it. But if I'd been part of that group and had access to all that, then when we did get the 609 Nitrous 9, I could have just straight ported it with overlapping windows and everything else instead of having to reverse engineer the whole darn thing again like we're doing now. So that's one regret. If I'd been into that a little bit earlier, I might have been able to join that group, and Nitrous 9 would be years ahead of where it is now.
So what does involve, in simple terms to a degree, if you can, in reverse engineering, like you're saying? What
disassembling and figuring out how they did things, or trying to do a clean room implementation, figure out what they did, not look at their code, and then just figure out an alternate way or my own way of doing it type thing. So But they had so much stuff done. They had vector fonts and all kinds of things in there that aren't in Nitrous 9 yet. Some stuff is, but yeah, it's it would have been years ahead of where it is now.
Interesting. What about David O'Connor?
Probably, two little things. Well, one bigger thing and one little thing. The little thing, I wish I had kept the Coco 1 box that I had and not thrown that out. Kept the original box with the foam inserts and all the packaging and all the rest. But but the main thing, around the mid to the late 80s, Dad got a 286 and I started getting into Microsoft DOS and all the rest of it. And I should have stuck with the Coco and gotten more into assembly language. I started getting into assembly and started writing some stuff in assembly, but I never really delved deeply into it. I got right into BASIC and did a heap of stuff with BASIC. But yeah, really, and fortunately now I do have the opportunity to go back and I'm digging my brain cells into assembly language now. So but if I had kept going with assembly language back then, I probably would have been way ahead now and been writing my step sequencer program and all the other stuff that I'm doing now in assembly instead of writing it in BASIC. So that's probably my only real regret. I've still got my original Coco 1, which is running behind me right now.
Yeah.
But David, you don't really need speed, do you, when you're doing it with that stuff?
It depends. For what I'm doing with the sequencer, I'm getting away with BASIC right now for most tempos, but I want to make it interactive where I can actually change things in real time as it's playing. And I want to be able to, call up keyboard interrupts and stuff like that and have external controllers coming in and changing the tempo of it. And things like that would benefit from writing things in assembly. So instead of using like in-key commands for keyboard interrupts, which take a lot of cycles, and reading the joystick ports, that takes quite a lot in BASIC to do.
Are you going to have a graphical thing going on while you're doing this too in the future?
Oh yeah,
I know
will.
you have
I'm
the
actually
little
working
one there.
Yeah, I'm actually working on the one that's running in the background now is simply just a test of a proof of concept, and I was working on getting the timing right in BASIC to make sure it's rock solid timing wise. But now that I've got that figured out, I'm actually starting work on a much more complex version. I will put some interactive features in that. Even using BASIC, I think I can get away with making it interactive and still making it useful and accurate. So that's probably my only real regret, is not digging more into assembly back in the day.
Very cool. What about Brian, the Music Man?
Regrets.
It doesn't have to be regrets, I guess. Right?
I don't really have any regrets other than the fact that I stayed more on the periphery of things and not so much mainstream. And that I like to be more of the, shall we say, the user and see what I can hack and making things work. That's more of my mojo. But otherwise,
was using OS 9 one of your regrets?
Absolutely not. Come on. Hey, man, you don't want to be stepping on my high.
So did you use the Coco with your, ham stuff?
I did a little bit. Let's see, Coco 2 mostly. The Coco 3 a little bit. I wrote some code actually for transmitting Morse code just by using the relay for keying the transmitter. You could only go just so fast, so you can only go about 50 characters a minute before the relay starts really going a little wonky.
A good way to wear your relay out.
Well, I was banging the relay, and that WeFax and stuff like that. But I had also gotten into Linux a bit, and of course regular PC and that. So I was doing more of that stuff there, because some of the things that you can do with digital modes, the Coco really can't keep up easily for decoding certain signals and that properly, and that. But other than that, I wish I had documented more of the stuff that I've got. Can't find it all now.
What do you mean documented?
Like inventory?
An inventory, exactly. I've got a lot of stuff back here, that stuff that you can't see that I got stored and stuff, and some in boxes and such. And
so when you go looking for stuff, you find other stuff, and then you never go get the stuff you were looking for because, hey, I just found this really cool thing.
Exactly. Oh, and here's a plug. Anybody who's got, I think I got some Daisy Wheel. I've got a whole bunch of old printer ink cartridges still sealed.
Wow.
And I went dumpster diving about 15, 18 years ago, and some company out in Arlington Heights was throwing all the stuff out. I dumpster dived and I grabbed a whole bunch of cartridges and other stuff. So
do you mention this now that the statute of limitations has lapsed on this?
Of course. Well, hey, it was in a public area in the parking lot. It was not inside.
It was well lit. It was well lit.
And it was an open container.
Whenever you dumpster dive, you're supposed to take two people, one to hold your ankles.
It had a door that could open up and walk in. It was one of those.
And if it's cocoa related, you have to take a fire extinguisher to put out the dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not let the smoke out.
No, that's cool. Terry Steen says, Terry Steen, by author of Balloon Fire, Gray Lady, and Mrs. Pack, among other great hits. Terry says, I hate that I walked away from the Coco for MS-DOS and Mac. Later, I found that my Coco coding helped me more in doing microcontroller programming than anything. The ARM isn't much different. And Tim Franklin says, no regrets here. The Coco got me my first engineering job designing and programming machine controls using the 6809. Terry says we should make a Toy Story movie for the Coco. The Coco, MPI, joysticks, etc. all freak out when Andy goes off to college.
No, I couldn't watch that.
Yeah, right.
No way.
So it doesn't have to be, I guess, necessarily regrets, but what if you could turn back time, going back to your life from the Coco to today, what would you have changed if you could? And how about John Lowry? Any Coco?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I kind of touched on it last week when I was talking about Rick Adams about it, because I was asking him about, what he had actually done to get published by, Tandy.
Yeah.
And now that I think back, looking back, if I would have stuck out some of the projects I was working on back in the day, finished them and submitted them, there's pretty good likely, other people had done it. So, maybe what I had done back in the day, if I would have completed those projects and turned them in, because even if I would have completed them, I would have never thought, hey, let me submit this to Tandy. I wouldn't, like Rick was saying, who do you call? Who do you write? How do you get this done? But I think that would have been the one, if you want to call it a regret or thing that I wish I would have done, it would have been to, stick out my projects to the end and submit them to Sandy and maybe have gotten published.
Well, did you try going to open up your Coco browser and surfing over to radioshack.com and submit an inquiry that way?
If only radioshack.com and the,
I think Radio Shack did have a forum on CompuServe when I remember, but
I think there was.
So finish these projects and present them here.
Yeah. Well,
we'll tear them apart.
Yeah.
Well, all that got lost at one point in time. So yeah, anything I did I would have to start from scratch, which is not too difficult because I never got so far into it that it's like, oh, all that work that I did is gone. It's like, well, all the preliminary work for a bunch of different projects is gone. But so
right. I know there's one person here who's got little to no regrets, because when you think of his introduction, as seen at PenFest 99 and 2000, at CorgsCon, Hamvention, at CocoFest, at Tandy Assembly, creator of the Switcheroo, the Wallaby, the Joey. I mean, the man's got more accolades than Alcatoids or whatever that game was. The Alkanoids that Ryan was playing there.
For your chest, isn't it?
Jason, there's very little things you'd want to change in your nearly perfect life, but stretch your imagination.
Regrets, yes. I've had a few. But then again, mention.
Yes. I was
I
wondering
did what
if
I had to do and saw it through without exception.
Aren't most of them dealing with the regrets you have?
Hey, Frank. Hey, how you doing, Frank?
Forget about it.
He did it his way.
Yes.
Yep.
Get it really one of the few regrets I have, because I still have a lot of the stuff I had. I still have my original Coco 2. Virtually all the tapes and discs that I had from back in the day. It was nice because I was actually able to recover some stuff for my brother that he then finished and released. Some of the hardware, I mean, I had multiple multi-packs at one time, and over the years, things got just some things that got sold off over the years. And when I got back into it, I realized some of the stuff that I had kept was kind of iffy, but now I'm able to fix it. And it's not so bad, although I do. One regret from back in the day is my original Coco 3, I ended up destroying. I probably plugged a multi-pack, blew the CPU. And at that time, my soldering skills were not very good, and I ended up ruining that Coco 3. And I at the time I just went ahead and got a Coco 3 used from one of the classified papers or something, and I continued on. But I had that motherboard for the longest time, and I think I must have thrown it out because I can't find it now. I'd actually like to go back and try to fix it.
Soap powder, I hear, works really good on these things.
Oh, it makes it really clean, but that's really all I got. I mean, okay. I wish I would have submitted more things. I mean, I only got like the one thing from through T&D back in the day, but other than that, I just
Did you and your brother ever argue back and forth when you were younger and had your machines? And I mean, did you guys always pretty much get along and
argue as far as what? As far as who's going to get to use the Coco?
Like, I've got this game and he wants a copy of it, and you're not going to let him.
That just sounds perfect, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not really. A lot of times he would write something, an adventure game or something, and want me to test it. I think more of anything, there was maybe arguments over who was going to use the Coco at that particular point, as far as computer time.
Why did you only have one between you?
Yeah, we just had the one. Between my brother and I and my dad actually would do some work for his work at the time. He worked in a hospital in the lab, and he would write up procedures for things they did in the lab and print them out on like a TP10 in script set.
Wow.
And I think he would take them and paste them to pages and columns, and then take them to work and photocopy them so they would go in a notebook. But
if your father had a shortwave radio,
did he ever have a blast with the new math tutor?
No, not as far as I know. And then there was a joint effort.
My shortwave.
Yeah, there was a joint effort where my brother did write a program there was some type of statistic analysis for work that he would do on the Coco at one point.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
Another guy we know has no regrets because he's got pop star money and soon to be having gun star money too. Nick Marentes, if you could change anything, would it be just to be more rich and more famous at this point, or?
Well,
change the cars you bought maybe with all the money.
I wish I had learned OS 9.
Perfect.
I wish
Not
that too.
Too late. Not too late.
Critters need some help.
Easier to use than ever.
No, that was bullshit.
Grade A.
Yeah, we know.
I don't really have any regrets. I was perfect. I did everything right.
No, you did it your way.
I think it's not so much a regret, but I think back in 1980, when I first got my first computer, the TRS-80 Model 1, which I enjoyed. I wrote several programs and all that. But if there's any regret I have, I wish I had bought a color computer in 1980. It was a brand new computer then. I should have bought the color computer, not the TRS-80 Model 1, which was already whatever, 3 years, old at that time.
Yeah.
Now, I spent time and learned how to program it, did some pretty good games for that, but the market was dead by then. So then in 1984, I got my color computer. But if I had the color computer in 1980, that was when the Coco was just starting up and
would have been a pioneer.
Yeah. So had I written any games for that, I may have then really got maybe 4 Ferraris.
Do you still have your Model 1?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
But it's not set up?
It's on a display stand. It's not powered up, no. But I do still have the Model 1.
Oh, cool.
And it's sitting next to...
These 81%, 3 Ferraris isn't enough. It's got to have 4. Greedy 1%.
Well, there's still room in my drawers. I could fit another 2 or 3, really. So...
Well, what did you have with it? It was just the keyboard, monitor, and paper card?
At the time, that's all I had. It was the keyboard, the main computer, and a monitor. No disk drives. I developed about half a dozen commercial-grade games from cassette.
Wow.
And that was in that 4-year period, which I liked it. I didn't no regrets in using the Model 1, but yeah, I should have got a color computer. Because it was a brand new machine in 1980 and no one else had any programs at that point. So had I learned to use that, I could have had a lot of games marketed then rather than starting a bit later.
One thing I always wondered, Nick, is if you regretted, or kind of in this theme here, is regretted not submitting your programs not just to Tandy Australia but also to Tandy in the States, so you could have been North America distributed and everything else.
Yes and no, but remember back in 1980, I was still in high school. I was in what we call here grade 9, I think it was, or grade 8 even, high school. So I was just a kid. I didn't know, talking to a big company to sell my games. I had dreams of trying to sell my stuff just by myself at the user group, for example.
No, I'm talking more like when you got into the Coco, because you actually did have Donut Dilemma and some of your games sold through Radio Shack, but only in Australia.
Yeah. Well, I was still in high school at that point as well, and of course there was no internet. I didn't know who to talk to. I only just sent it to the Australian Tandy head office as I didn't think it was going to go anywhere. And it just they came. What I submitted Donut Dilemma, and they came back and says yes, we'll take it. And that was when it all started for me. But
yeah,
I was
I just wondering if you had a regret that you could have gone beyond just Australia's borders and sent it up to.
I don't know if Tandy were back then in Australia anyway. Were actually accepting software. Most of the software they sold here in Australia came from the US anyway. And it was only in 86 with the Coco 3 did they actually start showing an interest to take on some Australian locally produced products. And I just happened to submit my program at the right time and they picked it up. Earlier than that, I would have had gone straight to the US maybe, but I was only a kid then. I had no idea how to contact.
I just said your games were commercial grade enough, even your earlier ones, that
even the
Model 1
ones
them to Tandy
were,
in the US, they probably would have distributed it in the UK and
Canada
and the States.
I was a kid. I wasn't quite greedy yet.
Man, if times changed.
Yeah, I know.
What did you wind up doing for a living as you got older?
3 Ferraris later.
I actually did start working in a Tandy store initially. When I finished school, I went into Tandy, was a salesman, a con man. So, well, not so much a con man. No. It put me, at least I was selling products I believed in, like the color computers and the Tandy computers. So, yeah, I wasn't a con man yet.
So were you able to get stuff
on
fixed if you broke it?
Sorry?
Were you able to get stuff fixed if you broke it?
I was learning to, yeah. But yeah, that was my only real, I guess, regret, in that I should have got a color computer instead of a Model 1. I might have gotten further.
Well, what did you wind up doing after your Tandy days? Did you become
Oh, after that, no, I got a job. Well, I was in retail for some time. I moved from Tandy to another chain store. When Tandy got rid of their color computer, basically, I moved to another chain that was selling, well, apart from PCs, also was selling Amigas, which was my second love. So I was selling Amigas for a while, but eventually, I think in 95, I got a job at a museum. I actually became an IT support officer.
Did you ever wear that white paper hat at the Tandy electronics store like the guy in the commercial did?
No. I don't know where they got that from. I wish I had one.
We'll find one for you. We'll send it. There's your regret. You never had a paper hat. So
they have those all the time here in food preparation stuff.
Yeah.
So we can find something for you.
And Stevie, how about you yourself?
I was going to wait for
Clan.
Yeah, I was going to let Nick finish.
Yeah, I'm finished.
I just want to say, Curtis, do you have a lot of news?
I have a fair bit, yeah.
Okay, only because
I mean, hold some of it off.
Well, no, I'm starting to get a little bit of a headache, so I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to hold out. I'll share. I'll keep my story brief, and then I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ron. Were you going to say something?
Make a break. Go get some aspirin. Come back. We're good.
No. I mean, I need a break. I need to stop hosting the show soon. I'm going to have to do that soon. So, so what are some of my regrets? I would definitely say not learning assembly. Like I think a lot of us, we should have learned assembly. It never dawned on me that I could even learn it as a kid or that I should have. I just figured that's what the grown-ups did. I didn't realize half the stuff that was out there written in assembly was written by other teenagers too. And to me, it was like, okay, basic is for kids, assembly is for adults. That's just what my simple mind, it's how I perceive the world, right? As a matter of fact, I didn't even realize there was different versions of assembly for every processor. I just thought assembly was a language, like basic is a language. So I was hoping that when I went to college for programming, I was going to learn assembly in college. Like, no, we don't teach assembly. And they definitely wouldn't have taught in 6809 assembly, so I was just really disappointed. I thought, now that I'm in college and I'm out of school and I'm ready to enter the world as an adult, I'm going to learn assembly and then I'll make that awesome Coco game I always wanted to make, So definitely have that regret. I did write some interesting programs. I wish I would have submitted them somewhere so they would have been preserved, like Rainbow or anything else. So I had all of my original floppies up until probably 1990. I still had the plastic filing case with all my floppies, and I let somebody borrow it, and that guy got evicted and lost all of his stuff, including my spare Coco 2 and all the floppies of everything I'd ever written in my lifetime that nobody but maybe me and two friends ever saw, or some people at a club meeting. So I just wrote tons of software. I wrote games, I wrote demos, I wrote stuff for the XPad, for the Koala Pad. I had a collaborator. I had a friend who would draw the graphics in Graphicom, and then I would do demos based on his graphics. And we had like animations, and like I was playing music because you could use Musica to play a file through BASIC. You could just like launch the jukebox player and play a single song. So like I had a guy moonwalking, and I had like the Michael Jackson theme song playing, and it's all kinds of stuff that we did. Really cool demos. So I have tons of stuff that I would love to look at these floppies and just look at them. I'm sure a lot of stuff I would cringe, but a lot of stuff I would look at and say, man, that was really cool that I did this when I was a kid. I had zero clue. And I did this, and this, So I just remember all the things I did, and I couldn't begin to know where to start to redo all those things. So I do regret missing those floppies and not learning assembly. Never going to a Rainbow Fest, obviously, never occurred to me that I could. I mean, there's no way I could have afforded a flight in a hotel. My parents wouldn't send me there by myself. So, there's no way I could have gone to a Rainbow Fest by myself as a teenager. So that would have been cool to see. Obviously, Coco Fest, missing out on 24 years of Coco Fest. And I would say, too, I do regret some, even more recently, I do regret, unfortunately, some times where we have not been polite to each other in our communications, like through social media and stuff. So I know there's times where I have not always been nice, and I regret that. So bringing it even more to the present. So I think I'll end it there. I'm sure there's a million things we're going to remember later on.
Did you want to apologize right now?
No, because that would be an admission of guilt and/or a sign of weakness. But let's just say I do regret not always being polite when I possibly could have done a better job.
Like even this episode, you were rude. So I mean, yeah.
I'm sorry. What was that, David?
I think we've all put our foot in it in that manner sometime. I've done that myself, even on certain groups or whatnot. I've said things I think, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I forgive you, Stevie.
Screw you, Nick. All right, so party's over, sucker.
We're gonna have a sorry moment here.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
We're all sorry.
Canadian.
Please accept my apology.
Yes. But
we're all gonna do it on. We're all gonna do it on 3. 1, 2, 3. We're sorry.
Wow, that was really good.
It's the sorry episode, isn't it?
Yes. All right. So how about then we group hug. So why don't we then jump into news? We're gonna let L. Curtis Boyle take it away with everything that's happening in the world of retro. And I'm sure there's been a lot since last week. I do want to say we broke a lot of records last week on last week's show. Attendance wise, we had probably the most live. We had over 40 live views consistently through the show. We broke 100 views the same day of the show. We've broken 200 views by like Monday. So last week's show was a lot of fun. And I think we just broke a lot of records for not having somebody like the 8-bit guy on. I think we did pretty good, right? So
it's Terry Steggy.
What's that now? Was that
Terry Steggy?
Terry Steggy was here. Yeah. So last week's show was a great show. To this week, I was actually even considering maybe not hosting the show just because of some of my own little personal traumas that I'm going through. But then I said to myself, you know what? The amount of fun that we had last week and the fact that we get together and laugh. I mean, this is the best remedy for whatever ails you in life. Getting together and having this good time for 19 hours straight.
All that you went ahead and took a Placeblex.
Yeah, Paul Fiskro says I regret spending the last hour listening to this drivel. Mr. Sensitivity.
I'm hopefully not as elevated as I was last week. I was a little bit excited about the whole Joey thing coming out.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we had to have you lower your chair.
I've since enrolled in rehab, and things are going much better.
Oh, speaking of that, how about this?
You were good last week. You were on fire last week.
Before we do that, before we do the news, how about we do this? Because somebody sent me the YouTube link to the Joey commercial. So how about we do it proper since my Google Drive has issues.
Tired of switching your joystick between the left and right port? Want to change between different controllers? Well, Joey has got you covered. The Joey controller switch. Take control of your controllers with the flip of 2 switches. Order today at cocoman.biz.
Joey? I see red, green, and blue, but I don't hear red, green, and blue.
Yeah, well, it was playing, and you guys just conveniently talked over the whole damn thing, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I don't have audio sharing because Curtis is about ready to share.
Oh,
that's okay. It's okay. Listen, it's a professional show run by amateurs.
Again. Well, I'll have to say we're sorry.
We're sorry. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I didn't realize our voices were interrupting it. I'm sorry.
We do have news then?
Yes, we do have news. So now L. Curtis Boyle. L. Curtis is going to tell us what's new and exciting this week.
Okay. Let me know if the sharing's coming through.
Sharing is coming through. Sharing is caring.
Oh, I see a Windows desktop.
Who's sharing?
QMIDI on Windows.
Better than Leslie.
Okay, the first story here. Sheldon McDonald put up a video for using QMIDI for Windows to create music to play on the Coco with the GMC cartridge, which he's been kind of, doing some stuff on. So he kind of goes through here, showing how he sets this up.
So QMIDI is what? That's not a Coco program, I take it?
No, it's a Windows program, but he's using it to create files specifically for the GMC.
Okay.
The driver
Zoom
that he's
is
doing.
showing.
Sorry, what?
There's a Zoom showing. Is it mine?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, must be me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So he's showing. So he's
local.
So what he's
so
doing
kind of goes
is-
through the details here of how to do the recording. Here's got a sample track he's doing with multi voices. You can see.
Okay. This
And
takes me
then-
back doing stuff in MIDI. And of course, we can't hear your audio at all. So just so you know,
My
If
audio
are
or
you
the-
sharing? We can't hear your audio at all. So if you're sharing audio, we can't hear it.
Okay, why is that?
We're not hearing the audio from the video you're
From
showing.
the video
is what
you're
he's
playing.
saying.
So when you share, make sure you
Yeah,
share
we can
audio
hear
too.
your audio. Yeah,
What?
but not your video.
We can hear you speaking.
We can hear
Curtis.
your microphone,
Yeah.
but not the shared audio.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me try that again then here.
Al Curtis is sharing, this time with feeling.
Start it over
There we
a
go.
little bit.
Yeah.
That's better. Now we can hear it.
I wish it would default to that. So that's just some, sample music he's doing, and then he kicks it over to the Coco side of things,
Recording this video, and
and that's his
my
QMIDI player,
speed
which
was
kind
a
of
bit slow.
handles the
I should
playing
have
of these
actually picked
file
0.
exports.
So as soon as it loads,
And like before, he has it running in the background.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, it does. But it's a nice tool because this way you don't have to like do pokes and peaks and design your
Yeah.
own data files. You
Yeah,
can just use off the shelf tools and away you go.
Yeah, while we're on that subject, I want to throw out there because speaking of when I mentioned, sometimes we have regrets about how we engage online. One of my most recent heated discussions was just getting into things, but the core of that discussion was somebody mentioned we need more software for hardware, and I think we got into it later on that night too. And one of the things I mentioned was, it's helpful if we have documentation and we have tools. And by me mentioning one person that did have some good tools, I may, it's making one of these, what do they call that? An inclusive statement. When you say, well, so-and-so does this, you're kind of almost saying, but nobody else is, even though you're not. So on that note, I do want to make sure, since this was part of a thread that had to do with the Coco Crew podcast, I want to make sure I acknowledge, yes, the Game Master cartridge has got great documentation, always has. Even though I didn't say it didn't have great documentation, I was mentioning a different product saying, the Coco VGA has got great tools. So I didn't say that. Also, on that same note, I know John Linville has recently done a video where he's modifying the play command to play for his Game Master cartridge. And I believe this month on the Coco Crew podcast, his tech segment is even telling you how to hack the play command or how to extend the play command. So I want to make sure I don't not only neglect to mention something, but also maybe recognize that on this one sound product that also Sheldon's been doing great work with this too. But John Linville has recently done a couple of videos on the GMC. So
yeah, and we covered one or two of them. I think either last week or the week before too.
Yeah. So
great puns, Steve.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good
So
stuff. I love hearing this stuff.
So the hack they were talking about for the play command, was that specific to the GMC or could it be applied to other?
The one he showed the YouTube video on was specific to the GMC, but his tech segment, which I haven't listened to, but if you look in the show notes of the show, the tech segment this month has something to do with modifying the play command. So there might be some nuggets in there you could use to.
Yeah, the technique definitely can be used in some of the other sound cards. I mean, his implementation is specific to the GMC because, of course, that's his card and he knows it the best. So
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
As Steve says, on that note.
On that note. No, but so Sheldon's doing a lot of good stuff. So listen, ideally, we had this conversation. It's great to have tools. It's great to have training wheels for certain things, but it's not necessarily the responsibility of the hardware vendor to spoon feed us how to interface with their product. Whatever documentation and tools and demo programs we can get are great, but there needs to be some realistic expectations. So we want to make sure we don't inadvertently have our wish list become a turnoff to these guys who are developing the hardware, because they might stop making stuff if we stop complaining about it, right? So we want to try to find that balance. But on the other side, we have talented people like Sheldon, who's writing these utilities that at the end of the day, anybody will be able to use. And so we want to recognize those folks too, because this is uber useful here, this kind of interrupt-driven background sound player,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Agreed.
Sorry, Curtis. It's all about me. We forgot about Nick Marotta. Remember, it's Nick Marotta's birthday. Sorry, Nick. I stepped on your toes.
Sorry.
My only regret is that Sheldon didn't have a happy birthday demo here. So
yeah.
And then also sticking with Sheldon for a bit here, he's also got an update to his GMC cartridge design, where he's got the audio out jack built in, and he's changed the insert to be a bit stronger. Let's see if I can zoom this up a bit here.
That's neat.
So this is like the 3D modeling of it, but
wow, that is a neat looking cartridge.
It's even got the little musical notes on there too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I am joining his joysticks.
Yeah.
It's not every day you find somebody that's on the level of John Strong that knows how to make hardware and software and provides their own 3D printed cases. That's a unique combination. It's a rare and special gift to have all of those talents, you know?
Yeah, I'm rare and special too, but in a totally different way that's not all that productive. So. And then Bill Pierce, we went through the whole, 512K video RAM thing when he did his little 2 meg demo. Now he's got one that is demonstrating horizontal and vertical scrolling. This one takes 1 meg. Now
it's got digital cat audio too.
Yeah. It's basically like these aren't done to be efficient. This is just him learning how the hardware and the hardware scrolling works. So this is doing just the two different, scrolling in 2 different directions.
Yeah, my cat says sorry.
Yeah, he's giving Nick Marionettes a run for his money here.
See, it almost looks like Gunstar first.
Gunstar.
This one's higher res, so it's better. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I love the panning. But he's loaded all of this image data into RAM, so there's really no room left to make a game at this point, right? Or is that true?
Well, he's down to 1 meg now, so he's got another meg on a 2 meg machine to do some game code. But yeah, no, it's not efficient. Like Nick's will fit
because this is all pure raw data, whereas if you have a tile set, you can really minimize the amount of RAM needed, right? So
yeah, and like I said, Bill's just learning assembly.
It's amazingly impressive.
This is just to learn. He knows he's not going to write a game using the specific method.
Yeah.
It's just that he's learning how the hardware works.
No, it's super smooth. It's really cool
Proof
looking.
Of concept.
The
testing
art, yeah,
it does look cool.
This is like NES or better looking quality here.
Yeah, it looks great.
Absolutely. It's amazing what you can do with only 16 colors,
Yeah, it is.
That's great work. Look forward to seeing more from Bill on that.
If that had some gameplay, that would have sold well in the 80s. 90s.
Even the 90s or even the 2000s.
Even the 2000s.
Graphics are beautiful.
But now he's got competition from Nick with Gunstar, so it'll never go anywhere. No,
well, the price is right now.
All right.
The price is right.
Next up, I've got my batch of Dragon videos for the week, and
I've been enjoying these.
Yeah, like I've said in the past, this is not everyone he's put up. He's put out a ton of adventure games and stuff, which it's a little bit boring to watch over and over because they're all different adventure games. But the games themselves are actually quite good. So please feel free to hit his page. That's PetSasJim1, PetSasJim1 on YouTube.
It rolls right off the tongue.
Yeah, it sure does. So this here is a game called Fruity, which is a slot machine simulator.
Oh, neato.
And where does he start?
This is where we speak dragon.
Hello. Yeah. Welcome to another tutorial on how to run software on the computer. Today we'll be playing a game called Fruity. It's a rather nice game. Okay.
And you can have a cup of tea and a cookie.
When does the fruity get fruity? There we go. This is neat. You got the little pound symbol there. Is that what the E is? Is that the pound? With the euro
the
symbol?
British pound.
Yeah.
Real money, I think they call it, but not a bad for a PMO3 game.
Not at all. Ooh, it even passes gas like this. Now, what is that little puzzle thing up in the corner? Is this like putting together things?
Well, have you ever played in Vegas style? Because they've got the slots where you get the line across, but if you add more coins, you can get diagonal lines count too, and vertical lines count. So it's depending on how many coins you put in, some of those lines actually apply to being winners.
Oh, I see what's happening there. That's just a re-representing.
Yeah. Okay. One thing I like is that he's got, if you get 3 dragons, and it's the actual dragon data symbol.
Yeah, the dragon symbol is cool. Yeah, and on the title screen too, that was cool.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit annoying, but it's actually pretty
neat.
Decent.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that one. So there's your payouts. Okay.
Now this is a bit of a unique one he did. He actually he's using MAME for all these emulations to
He's not
run all these
using
Dragon games.
XRoar. That's blasphemy. Dragon stuff
Well,
should be
in
on
this
an
particular
XRoar.
case, I don't know if XRoar supports the Dragon Professional Alpha, which was a Dragon that never got fully released. There's like 5 or 6 prototypes.
Wow. 3 times speakers, 6-bit binary weighted DAC, a 1-bit DAC. Wow.
Yep.
AY chip? It had an AY chip? Programmable sound
built-in
generator?
floppy drives, 2 dual 3.5-inch drives.
A 320 by 240 mode? This thing would have been a beast. 8888 megahertz?
That's the boot screen.
Oh, okay.
When you turn the machine on. Did you want to use BASIC or do you want to start using disks
Oh
and
my
actually boot straight to
God,
OS 9?
that is awesome.
Yeah, you could boot straight into now they made the basically the standard Dragon basic for compatibility with Dragon 64 and Dragon 32. But if you had disk, you could instantly boot up anything. And OS 9 was actually one of the things they were planning on pushing with support for the sound chips and everything else built in.
Oh my goodness.
So I don't think there's too much here because he doesn't have all the rest of it. But
so is there a game we're going to see, or is this just showing off the machine?
no, this is just showing off the ROM because MAME is actually emulating the Dragon Alpha.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know this existed. That is cool. It's got like a whole BIOS screen here, a whole loader screen. Yep. That is amazingly
how do you insert
impressive.
your disc?
Yeah, little pictures here.
Yeah.
That is amazingly impressive.
And I don't know if he had anything else. I'm just trying to remember if it was...
We need to make this. Jim Brain needs to make this. and nobody will write software for it.
Yeah, I think it's more Ed Snyder thing.
Ed Snyder, yeah.
Ed Snyder thing. He can tack it on right after the Coco 3 Plus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You could build it into the Coco 3 Plus.
Yeah, could you actually?
But doesn't
the
have
next
a
one here is
real-time clock.
called Galleons. It's by Wizard Software in 82. This is a kind of a battleship style game. And if I remember, it's written in BASIC.
I love lots and lots of screens of text before you start playing a game. It really turns me on.
Then he does this nice fancy graphic here.
That
nice,
is cool.
Galleon.
That is
Nicely
really
drawn.
cool.
And then it's back to text for the actual game.
Oh, Lord have mercy. It's Battleship.
Yeah,
you
basically.
sank my battleship. I say, old chap.
I just found it interesting that he wrote a basic game, and the Battleship game itself is pretty good as far as Battleship games go. But he does this fancy, graphic screen, and then it's right back to text for the actual game.
That's because that was all the rage back then. Is your graphic splash screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Now this one's interesting. This one's called Ghost Attack. Now it's basically Computerware's Pack Attack.
Okay.
But they changed the colors around compared to the original Coco version, and I'm not
Okay.
sure why they did that.
Okay. To make it better.
Like they
Ghost
redid the
Attack.
name because
Okay,
that's a
Ghost
Pack Attack.
Okay, this was the semi-graphics version.
Yeah.
Oh, this one was good as it was. Oh, a green maze instead of a blue maze.
Yeah, like I don't know why they did that.
I don't either. Because the blue maze was very arcade correct.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that sound effect. That was the most iconic sound of
that was not.
The woo.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool sound effect when it did it, but the dying sound just grated me as like fingers on a chalkboard.
And this sound ended up getting recycled in many, many games.
Yes, especially for Computerware because it was the same program that did them.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that they had it renamed
Yeah.
and the colors changed,
Now,
and otherwise it's
keep-
identical.
Keep that pause for just a second, because this is a great example of semi-graphics. You see right here where the text is and where the text ends, and right underneath the text we have that green line.
Yeah.
That would not be possible in your normal text mode. So this is like an SG24, right? This is the 192. And this is exactly what Audio Spectrum Analyzer did too. So when you have those numbers right underneath the numbers, the rest of it has been blocked off. So we're not really wasting all that 8x12 character frame. We're slapping graphics up in there. So you're making the maximum use of the screen real estate, which is a very cool effect there. So
Yeah, and you can see the semi-graphics too with the thin lines all throughout the maze.
Yeah, that was the best part about this is you had 192 vertical lines with 8 colors. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you didn't have to have font data either. I mean, if you wanted to do text on the screen, you just drew the different scan lines for the text that already built in, so you didn't have to build in fonts. You could free up memory for your game.
Hey, we just got a tip. Michael Pitsley just tipped $5. Thanks for the tip. Somebody used the donate link. Thank you, Michael.
Cool.
That is cool, though. I like it.
And actually, the semi-graphics mode is the reason that Nick Marentes got into the Coco, actually. He wasn't too impressed with the black and white and P-Mode 3 stuff because they didn't have artifacting in Australia at the time with PAL. And this is the reason he decided to get a Coco. Right, Nick?
Yeah, it was.
OS 9.
He's getting too many carbon monoxide fumes from his Ferraris right now, folks. This here is a game of golf, and we had a bunch of these. Now, I know the Amigos guys were looking for golf games during one of their live streams, and actually, Nick and I were kind of discussing it. I don't think we ever had a really good golf game on the Coco or Dragon. Can anybody name one?
I don't think there's such thing as a good golf game, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's just not my. I don't know. Even watching it live is boring.
There was some mini golf, but
I can remember the mini golf that was in Rainbow.
Oh wow, this is cool. This is graphical. Okay.
Yeah, and the guy actually, it took a while for him to figure out how to play it, but you actually can swing your club and it actually does animate that.
Now, do you guys hear just a little piece of trivia? Do you know what golf originally stood for?
Gentlemen only, ladies forbidden.
That's right, gentlemen only, ladies. It was a boys' club. It was the original boys' club was golf, right? A way to get away from the woomers. An impressive saber he has there.
I'm glad you said what that was because I was wondering.
It's not the size of the stick; it's how you swing it. So.
He's not just swinging in the wind, folks.
Star Wars golf.
Yes.
Addressing the ball.
But I mean, most of the games I've seen of golf have all been Coco 1 and 2. There's one mini golf for the Coco 3, which basically was a report of the Coco 1 one. And then I think Prickly Pear did one that had some assembly called Tee Off, but that's about the best one I remember. And none of them are very good compared to what some of the other platforms, even at the time, had.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna play Nick Marotta here. I'm gonna throw out an idea, free idea to whoever wants to develop this, but full contact golf with a horde of a zombie apocalypse coming at you while you play the game. That'll make it interesting.
Just make sure it only has one level so Stevie can play it.
Jerry Young says it looks a little bit like Atari 2600. Okay, Salamander Software presents. I like the checkerboard background. Is this going to be a racing game?
Very good. In basic.
Poor Amanda, what do I have to sell her?
With awesome soundtrack.
We've got a couple of grand pricks on this show, too.
Dave's not.
This is not to be confused with Computerware's Morocco Grand Prix. So.
Okay.
There's 8 tracks, which is nice.
My car's got 8 tracks, too.
Yeah, my cassette deck is downstairs.
And with pedaling.
The thing is that this basically draws an overview of the track, and then you just steer a dot around it, basically.
Okay.
So it's not like
okay. Well, let's see it though. Okay, that's cool.
It's written in basic, so it's
the arrows pointing the direction, obviously.
Oh, Amiga Retro Gaming says try Ninja Golf in the Atari 7800. Ninjas instead of zombies, but it's still Death Golf.
There you go. You got to keep it interesting, you know.
I've got to check that out now because I'm intrigued.
We went off the track. We went
have
off
that somewhere.
Yeah. Commiserations.
But some of the other tracks actually get a bit more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Turn left.
Fast forward.
I like how they're doing the whole checkerboard motif there with everything. That's pretty cool visually.
Oh,
yeah. Now, what is the steering mechanism? Is it keyboard or is it
joystick?
Okay.
Joystick.
All right. What
So
color were the joysticks on the Dragoon?
They were black, but they were that odd. You've got
were they a dark color of attractive significance?
They were not pastel like the graphics mode. So
they beautiful.
Oh no!
Steering.
Spin out.
Look at that! Look at that! There we go.
Skidded around the edge.
Yeah, I like.
Accelerate.
You got the timer going up to the top too.
Yeah,
not bad for basic actually.
No, the track looks cool. The track looks
four-wheel drift.
Okay. Grid Runner Salamander Software. They're cranking out the hits. This Salamander Software, huh?
Now, designed by Jeff Minter, Nick pointed out to me that we've seen a few Jeff Minter. Now, Jeff Minter's still famous in games. He does games for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox even nowadays.
Ooh.
But he did stuff for the Commodore 64 and the Sinclair Spectrum and the ZX81 and a ton of other machines. Like I took a look at some of the stuff he'd done, and he's done like at least 2 dozen machines home computers and video game systems. So he's quite famous, and he's a guy from the UK, and he started on the older 8-bits like the Dragon and the ZX. So this one was actually ported by somebody else based on a game he'd done for one of the other platforms. And it kind of reminds me of Neutroid in some ways, but it's kind of a centipede mixed with Neutroid, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it. But...
I'm wondering what... Yeah, this is cool. Really unusual.
But this is actually a cross-platform game. This game is available probably in about 4 or 5 other platforms in the time, too. So.
And none of them other than the Coco are using this puke pink color here.
Yeah, the Puyan color set, as we like to call
it. God, it hurts
the eyes.
They could. I just want to stab my eyes with a blunt object right now. It's just...
This is why the Coco VGA was created, folks.
Yes.
You can change all this. Mind you, with the Coco 3, you can change it through the palette command, too. So.
Yeah. That's a cool looking concept for a game. Okay.
Yeah. Next up, Henry Reitfeld put up a video showing playing Canyon Climber, loading it off floppy from a real floppy drive. The twist is it's an 8-inch floppy, not a 5 1/4, not a 3 1/2.
Super retro.
Let's play Canyon Climber on my Coco 3 using a floppy disk.
It's certified.
It's Giganto.
Yeah, it's Giganto.
So before we
those are Model 2 floppy disks.
We have to make the disk.
War games.
Drive.
They hold like 12 bytes.
At least it's an even
it's
number.
90K.
So he actually creates. He takes a disk image, formats the floppy, and he had to do some hardware mods because the spin rate is a little bit different on the 8-inch drive. So he had to do some mods, but he copies it over and then actually loads the game off the 8-inch floppy drive. And
so what's he copying? So he's copying from the Coco STC to the floppy drive there.
Yeah.
So he's basically got Disk Extended Color Basic plugged into an 8-inch drive.
Yeah.
And it recognizes it.
Yeah, and it works because of the 360 versus 300 RPM and all the differences there.
There's Canyon. Canyon 3. Has this been modified for the Coco 3?
I'm not even sure, to be honest. Can't remember what the video. I was more fascinated
he's on
he
a
actually got an
CM8
8-inch floppy to work.
And he has the door.
He has the door.
Yeah, he's just trying to make us jealous.
So this has been modified for the Coco 3 because he's on an RGB screen and he's got the right colors there.
Oh, right. You're correct.
Yeah. Okay, off of an 8-inch floppy.
Canyon Climber.
That's cool.
So how
the next is going to be me plugging a couple of the other releases I did this week. And many thanks to David Ladd, who actually put the side-by-side videos to merge them together so you can kind of see the different versions. So the first one up here, like I said, was specifically for Nick Marotta. I did 6 through 9 versions of 3 other games this week. One Coco 3 game, which is Xeneon here, and then 2 others that are Coco 1 and 2 games, just to give some 6 through 9 love to the Dragon and Coco 1 and 2 community. So on this particular case here, I did a 809 optimized version, which is about 3 to 7% faster than the original, and then also a 609 native mode with TFMs added. And some people were complaining that was too fast. So I later released, I think the day after, a TFM version, but running in emulation mode. So the extra cycle save per instruction not happening on that one, which seems to have kind of balanced it out for some people. Brian Palmer, myself, and Paul Thayer just think that some people are just too old to be playing video games and just can't have the speed.
I think Nick Marenti's would agree with us.
Well, he is old, so that kind of makes sense. But so left is a 6809 stock original, the middle one's a 6809 optimized, and the right is a 6309. And you can just see how the splash screen already came up and the scrolling smoother and faster.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a real lot of difference between the two 6809 versions, but there's a big difference with the 6309 there.
Yeah, apparently too big for some, but there's a bit of a difference. I mean, one of the reasons doing side by side is when you start them in the exact same spot, you can see like the scrolling has already gone down further on the middle one. And I had a couple of people say that they tried it and they said actually it does play a bit easier, a bit smoother. So it's not a hugely noticeable difference. If I took the time to disassemble the entire program, I mean, Michael Duncan, who wrote this, and he's from Australia, he obviously was just learning the CPU at the time because there's a lot of beginners mistakes doing assembly for speed, and I could probably optimize it a lot further even on the 6809, but I don't have the time to do all that. So these are quick hacks.
Okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Marble Maze is a game that could definitely use a speed boost.
Yep. So 639 on the left,
that's
639 on the right. I will mention that if you run the double speed poke on a Coco 3 and the 639 version, it's literally almost running 4 times faster than stock. I didn't show that in this video, but you guys should try it out because it's quite the difference.
Wow.
And I didn't optimize the level created part except for running in native mode, so it's that part's not hugely, but the scrolling is quite a bit faster. Probably skip past the.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh wow.
Unfortunately, I
That's
can't
a
play the
huge
same
difference.
on both, so.
Artifact colors look good.
Wow, look at that.
It's a lot smoother too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are small patches. Like literally, I'm patching maybe about 30 to 50 bytes per program to do this.
Wow,
that's all.
So you're doing so I guess you're doing things like optimizing like certain register loading so it does it in one cycle rather than 2 cycles and things like
Well,
that. Or...
turning on native mode does that automatically in a 639. Some instructions you save a cycle compared to a 6809. So that's the quick and dirty way to get some speed up. The other thing I'm doing, I was trying to find games that have scrolling because that's notoriously slow, even with a stack blast. And some of the older games actually didn't even use stack blast. They were just doing load copy, load store type things, which are really slow. So those ones, I actually just found the chunks of code and I replaced it with a TFM instruction from the 609. And then usually I had bytes left over. So then I would just put a bunch of no operations or a branch ahead to skip the dead code that's no longer being used. So that's the only 2 optimization I'm doing. I turn native mode on. I throw in 1 or 2 TFMs in a game, and that's all I'm doing.
Skip the dead code. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
So let's see it.
Yeah, F16, and this I will mention too, because some people preferred F16 running on the 6 or on the Coco 3 with the double speed up poke because it plays faster and smoother. But then you can't use the sound speech back because now the clock's too fast. With this patch, because it's speeding it up using the 639 instead, the clock is still staying at 0.895 megahertz. Therefore, your sound speech pack on the sped up version works perfectly fine. So you get all the sound effects, the speech, and everything.
This is one of the few games that actually have made really good use of the sound effects of that chip. Oh yeah, what a difference!
Look at that! Wow, yeah, far out. That's huge.
Yeah. And even explodes faster.
That's the native mode part. That wasn't TFM. So.
Yeah. That's cool.
But anyway, yeah, those are all available for download. Parasurat has ported over the first 3 games that I did last week already to the Dragon.
Okay.
Color Car Action, Gauntlet 1. What the heck was the other one? Oh, Touchstone.
Last week.
Right. So those are already up on the Color Computer Archive, and he's going to be porting these other 3 I just did. Well, 2 of them. He'll be doing the 2 Coco 1 and 2 ones. So F16 Assault Marble Maze, those will be coming for the Dragon near you as well. So kudos to the Dragon guys. You guys get some 609 upgrades too.
Awesome.
Now this here is another Dragon 32 game, and this is done by Rob's Retro Rambles. We've had him on the news section before for some of these, and this is a game called Pub Crawl, which I'd never seen before.
I've done pub crawls before.
And it'll remind you somewhat of Poltergeist, the first level of Poltergeist, as you run around pubs trying to drink.
Hello.
Oh, this is the cool guy at the lava lamps. Yeah.
By B&H Software.
I love
his commentary is hilarious too. So I wish I could play the whole thing, but it's
the whole
long,
tape
so
is
we'll
32 seconds long. Right.
Oh yeah, very
What on
poltergeist.
So you've got your
yeah,
home
turn
in
the
the
volume
lower
down a
right
bit to
corner.
start with.
You've got all the pubs with their different door entrances to get into them.
Volume, anyone?
Okay.
And then you have food, I think it is, in the upper left. So
there we
basically you have to go drink a ton
I'm
of beer.
guessing we're by the play school house here, and we've got to make our way to all the various pubs and end up at the burger place at the end.
Yeah, because you get
That
munchies.
seems
Then you have to go back
logical.
home
Let's just
afterwards.
Now were you walking or driving?
Ooh.
You're walking and getting run over by cars, just like
just like poltergeist. Okay.
Stumble.
Now is this the only screen it has?
Go the right way.
Actually, I was going to show him drinking some of the beer here. That's back.
So who is he? The yellow person?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. It looks like a beer mug, and then a mug empties out.
Yeah.
No.
Are those constables there that are chasing him?
I think they're cars, actually.
Okay.
Just like Poltergeist is.
Constables.
Constables on patrol.
I don't know. In the UK, wouldn't the constables be joining you for a drink? I don't know for sure. But...
And there's the burger.
Lovely. Oh,
Now he's got to get home.
Yeah.
No burp.
We missed a golden opportunity there.
Yeah.
Let's follow this.
If you drink that
car.
much beer, you'd be having a
Looks like
golden
it seems to be
opportunity
going the
coming, right?
way.
That's for sure.
He's following the
That's true.
constable. And you
I'm
complete a level.
safe.
That's neat. That's
I
a
just
neat
realised I
idea
didn't
for a
zoom in,
game.
so I'm going to have to
Yep.
do this all over again, aren't I?
Now, at this point, he
Marvellous.
realized he forgot to zoom the camera in.
We saw what was going on though. We saw it.
Starts off slow.
That's pretty
cool.
good. I like his reviews because he has a nice sense of humor during the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, and well presented with this.
Yeah, you can see that as closer. You can see their vehicles, right? So.
So they have different beers, different levels. One's got Guinness and one's got
Bass Ale or Guinness. Or...
I do know as you go up levels, you get more cars to dodge. That gets harder and harder.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I
The
figured they
first
should have
level
done is that after you've completed drinking all the beer and you go to the burger place, you should now be drunk, and now your person should wander around a little bit randomly as well as being steered by you to try to get back to the house. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto does a good job of that. Whenever you drink, you get the verbal vision. You can't see well, you can't steer well, and you have to wait for that effect to wear off.
I overshot.
Anyway, it's a pretty cool
Yeah, that
game.
is
I've
neat.
never
That's
seen
a
it
neat
before.
game.
so-
Never seen this before. I like it. I like how the mug goes down too, right? So.
Yeah.
And it gets faster as you drink. Yeah, it's moves faster too.
This is from Chet Simpson earlier on in the week. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it on the show today, but he's been working on a VGM to SN chiptune convert using his prototype CPF player for the Coco. And he's
Okay.
had a couple little iterations of it. It's definitely not working perfectly, but this is converting from the VGM format, which is a standard format for games. I think, Stevie, you probably know more about this than I
I
do.
just know it stands for video game music.
But it's a
kinda
standard
like,
across
it's a
multiple
standard, so
platforms,
it's kind of
right?
like a MIDI format. That's yeah.
Okay. Not perfect, but you can recognize the tune.
Yeah, it sounds a little distorted, but that's.
So that's coming out of the six. That's coming out of the 6-bit, I'm guessing. Yeah.
No, it's coming
That's
out of
one of the
sound chips.
audio chips.
Oh, okay. Sounds a little 6-bitish.
Probably has to do with the original sample.
I thought he
Yeah,
had an
maybe.
update, but maybe not. I know he did an update to it a little bit later that plays a little bit better, and we played the Moon Patrol one, I think, previously. That he did. That
Oh,
one
yeah,
sounded
right.
really
Yeah,
good.
that one sounded really
Yeah,
good.
that's
That was
yeah,
spot on.
yep.
Simon
And
Jonathan.
just because we're on a sound kick, Simon
Yes.
released a new 4-voice player that's using his Sawtooth style. But this actually has a song that's literally over 3 minutes long, and the player and the sound data, and this is taking slightly less than half a CPU time, about a third, I think, is actually only 5.5K long for the
Wow.
entire thing.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Let's fast forward a little bit here.
I love Simon. Yeah.
This is a song he used in his demo too, wasn't it?
I don't think so.
No, it's different. He said it's a different author.
I love the low end on that.
That bass
man. It
is
sounds
really
so
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get a
That's
nice
really
little kind of a portamento effect in some of those notes too, like you're grabbing a stick and just shaking that note.
Yeah, by vibrato.
Yeah.
But the fact that
Yeah, that
it's
bottom
in
end is
such a
so clean.
small amount of RAM, and the fact that it is only taking like 1/3 of the CPU time versus the half some of his previous efforts have taken, you could have this running in the background game with pretty decent CPU
Yeah, it's
time
kind of
for
what
gaming.
Paul Fiscarelli did with Run Dino Run.
Yeah, and that sawtooth waveforms always sound good. That demo I did last week of the ACO 160, that was using a sawtooth waveform.
Yeah, I call it a crunchy sound. I just think it sounds so damn good, and it does it because
And the bottom end is that bass is really clean.
Yeah, the bass is really good. The bottom end is good. Like most of the 4-voice music, unless somebody did something special, they all had that kind of organ sound. So most of the 3 and 4 voice music we all sounded like an organ. And there's few exceptions to that. Like I know a lot of the Datasoft marquee intro screen sounded a little better. Poo Yan was pretty good. But we're so used to hearing a fairly stock sound that this is so outside of that norm that it's refreshing.
Yeah, well, that organ sound, that's basically a square wave.
Okay.
What is this?
What is this crap here? Is this something from OS9?
Yeah, this is by some hack in Australia.
Crikey.
He decided to, we had talked about his promotion of the game. He wanted to hide the some of the boss aliens and have it as a surprise for the player. And then, the next day he posted this and put it in there. So I don't know why he did that, but he actually did a little demo video.
He did it for Nick Marotta's birthday.
There you go. There you go. We have an reason now.
Yeah, it was a bloody good video though.
Yeah.
Guns.
And for Amigos Retro Gaming, this is an upcoming 639 required game, so you'll need to get your upgrade chip.
Wimp. Showing off some of the levels.
Look at the size of those explosions.
Crikey. I love that warp effect.
That's cool. That's cool.
The music is rocking too. Is that 6-bit DAC music? He's using Simon's Sawtooth player.
Humanity!
What is that?
Ah, that's cool.
That's the boss.
We don't know that.
That
Can
looks
neither
cool.
confirm
That
nor
looks way
deny
cool.
that allegation. Requires
I really
512. Does it require a color computer?
Now, Nick, did you have any comments you want to make on it, like the music and stuff?
No, not at this stage.
Well, we can say it was composed by your son, right?
By the way, we have.
The music composed by my son. So.
Don't forget in your news, I don't know if you have it, but there's an exclusive new debut of a Joey and Coco comic strip. Do you have that queued up, Curtis? Or?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. It would be joey.gracenote.ca. So when we get to that.
Okay. Unless you want to just yank it up while I'm finishing the news off, and then you can just quickly throw it on.
I'm pretty good at yanking things. Sure, why not?
What's your son saying?
Yeah. That's
Too much
great.
information again.
Good to hear. We needed to know that.
It's. I'm not going to say what it is, but I think it's the next episode. Okay, so we do. It's been yanked, so it's ready.
Okay. This here, you'll see there's a Microsoft or Microcolor Basic, which is the MC10, of course, and you would assume it's Jim Gary. It's not. It's somebody else who's porting a game over.
Dragon Fear on the TRS-80 Color Computer MC10.
Yeah, and this is by Jerry Young. He's porting this game from the Giant Book of Computer Games, which means Jim Gary actually has
He's been in the live
competition
chat. He's in the live chat right now. Jerry, join us. We have a celebrity in our chat. He should be on the panel.
Yeah.
The rest of us.
I just find it really nice that we're actually getting some other people showing some love to the MC10 besides Jim, who's he's like the Ed Snyder.
Jim
of the
needs
MC10
a break.
world.
Yeah, Jim needs a break. Okay. Oh, lots of text.
Yeah, that's the listing.
I missed yet.
Welcome, Jerry. You start this exploration of 25 moves. You must complete your task before the moves run out. Press any key to begin. Please stand by, Jerry. Jerry was a race car driver. Drove fast every day. Jerry, you are at 55. Your amulet signals that there is a solid wall nearby. You have 25 moves left. Treasure, treasure, treasure. I'm not you. I missed some of the information here. So you found.
Yeah, there's a bit of a map.
Okay. Your amulet signals that there is a dragon. Oh, so this is kind of like Minesweeper a little bit. You know when you're so many squares away from something?
Yeah, or Hunt the Wumpus style.
Yeah. You are 5 arrows remaining. Which direction do you want to shoot? Oh, so very Hunt the Wumpus. Ferocious dragon. You have hit a dragon, but you have only wounded it. Oh, you're carrying 65. You are at 60.
Hitting a dragon with an MC10.
Yeah. You have 4 arrows remaining.
You can prop his mouth open with the MC10.
Oh. But you have
a Dragon
only
32.
You are at 65. You're carrying. Okay, so 65 is a coordinate. I guess every block
X and
is
Y
marked.
coordinate.
Okay. You have 3 arrows remaining. You have hit a ferocious dragon and you killed it. You're rewarded with 147 gold pieces. That is awesome. All right.
I can find the map again here. Can it
Neat.
shows up again? I'll go back to the map.
Good. Oh, no.
Somewhere over here.
Good job, Jerry. Hey, come on sometime and talk to us about your adventures in MC10. Love to hear about it.
I can't find it at the moment. But anyway, yeah. It's,
Okay.
It's,
No, that's
it's
cool.
nice to
That's
see some
cool.
new developments. So
this is going to be in the link notes. We'll have this later. You're going to give me a text file so I can put this in the show notes later for the show.
Oh, I forgot to paste that, didn't I? I was kind of rushed this.
Don't worry about it now, as long as
today,
you've got a
so-
file somewhere.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. We'll fix it in post. Okay. Miscellaneous X-Roar test. I love miscellany.
Yeah. So this is by a YouTuber named Lucas Boy. I think he's one of the guys that is a regular on the Amigos show. And if Amigos can tell me if I'm right or wrong on that, because he made some references to the show.
Okay.
And basically he's got X-Roar running Coco 1 and 2 games. And he goes through a bunch of games like Arkanoid, Demon Attack, Pinball, and a whole bunch of others rather quickly because he's just kind of experimenting with the emulator at this point.
And that
with
would be
commentary.
Arkanoid.
So that's got pretty good speed. I will not be able to keep up with that. The emulator lets you do, it slows down when stuff gets too busy. I like that.
So he goes through a whole bunch of,
Okay.
games just, and a bunch of them like
journey
he
of exploration.
yeah, well, part of the exploration is he was trying to load some Coco 3 cartridges on a Coco 1 and 2
which
emulators. So of
won't
course
work.
those crash, but
Yeah, okay. There was not enough color to handle that request. Oh, yeah, then you got to play the pinball.
Oh, yeah.
this one he was impressed with because of the 3D graphics.
That's a good game.
Jerry,
And
Jerry would love to have you on
And
the
the
show.
palette fits this one.
Yes.
Only,
Yeah.
And only this one.
What?
Now that one is when I should, when I get time again, I should
All
actually
the
see if
ones
I can
that they do
609
are probably
optimize that
Activision.
sucker.
So I either need to get a
Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never seen
Tetris.
the Coco Tetris before.
Yeah, that's one of the fat binary cartridges that actually has higher res on the
where
Coco
you're
3
used
when you
to
run the same
up being
cartridge.
the immediate drop, having to put.
And of course,
I've been-
wildcatting.
It's one of my
Kindercomp.
favorite things to run in the back.
Wow.
Kindercomps,
Draw
some
pictures.
educational stuff.
Let's scribble. What is this? Is this the Rubik's Cube game?
Yeah.
Color cubes?
He was impressed, about as impressed with it as you are.
Push enter to start.
Not his style of game.
What's up, dinosaur? You want some of this? Whoa. I'm gonna fucking eat you.
Run, Dino, run.
Run, Yep. No, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
X-Roar
it
is
was
a
nice
great
to-
X-Roar is a great emulator for you just want to run Dragon,
Coco 1 and 2, yeah.
stuff. Yep.
It's got the really good artifacting too.
Yeah.
Like it rivals MAME. So
Kindercomp. It's not a Tuma, is what Ken Riker says.
at any rate, he's new to the Coco. Like I said, I think he's one of the guys that watches the Amigos regularly too. So hopefully he'll keep putting out some videos to just give us some opinion from somebody who's like new to the Coco community.
Excellent.
Because I always like hearing what people that have never seen the machine before, what they think of it, especially if they take it into the context of when it came out.
Cool. Cool.
Rather than just us old timers here. And here, last news item: Paul Fiscarelli has the first prototypes run for his Coco keyboard to PC adapter. So this is good for if you're trying to play some of the games on MAME, etc. And the PC keyboard just doesn't map out the keys in the same spot, so it's hard to play with the keys that were assigned. This is an adapter that will actually let you plug a Coco keyboard into it and then use it actually on your PC on MAME. So if you have arrow keys that should be on your left and right hands instead of all crammed into a diamond shape or something, this will let you plug that in to use with MAME.
Could you plug Ed's keyboard into that?
I'm not sure. You have to ask Paul.
Now, is this meant to be in line with your Coco while your Coco's still on? So you're or is this meant
no,
to be...
it just plugs into the PC itself. You just plug the Coco keyboard into that connector you see on the screen.
Okay, so you need to have a spare keyboard somewhere.
Yeah, or just yank
so
it out.
that would be kind of cool if this could be kind of passive and go through it, where you could have this in line with your regular Coco keyboard, and you could just use it when you needed to. You know,
have like a switcheroo.
Yeah,
no, that's
throw a
neat, though.
switch.
I am not making a keyboard switcher.
Use the new mechanical one.
There's the cry key.
The cry key. Yes.
There you go. Look at that.
Couldn't you use the new mechanical one?
Jason, now you have to. We got a good name for it. So.
I don't see why you couldn't. I don't see why you couldn't. Yeah.
There's probably no reason why you can't plug in a regular PC keyboard and that key, or just hot swap them, because you can do that with a regular keyboard. And if it's just a USB interface, you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
Well, he's talking about actually creating one that goes the other direction too, where you can use the PC keyboard on the Coco and maybe making a version of this board that does both directions.
That's
that
cool.
way. So
that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really useful.
That's
the other thing. Someone in the comment, I was reading about that earlier on before the show, and someone in the comments mentioned whether you could use it with a Raspberry Pi and an emulator, and they were saying, yeah, that would work with that.
Yeah,
So,
if it's just USB, if it becomes a standard USB like HID human interface device, it should work on anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
You
imagine, you put a Raspberry Pi and a Coco keyboard, you could just about fit the whole thing in the case the size of the keyboard. One of Ed's new keyboard cases, and have a whole TRS-80 emulator, hardware emulator built into that keyboard block.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And this, of course, will work with Ed's new keyboards too. So
yeah, neat.
Yeah,
neat
and
project.
that's it for news.
And that's it for news. All right, so then how about we switch over to the latest episode of Joey and Coco? I will go ahead and bring that over. Oh my God, what is this? What is that? Okay, so did I need that right now? Okay. All right. So here we have it. If you go to joey.gracenote.ca, this is the website where DeBruce Moore is featuring Joey and Coco, a brand new comic strip. And so we saw last week, it was strip number 4 that was called Syntax Error. And now we have a live debut of strip number 5. Are we ready to see it, boys and girls? If only DeBruce was here, because I can't say it in his good Canadian voice. You guys ready for strip number 5?
Yes.
Okay, so here it goes. Actually, let me do this. Let me zoom in
Zoom
just
up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so Joey and Coco. So here we have Joey talking to us, Coco. He says, "It was a lot of typing, but an awesome game. I can't wait to play again tomorrow." And he's getting ready to hit the power button, and Coco's like, "Wait, don't!" And it looks like he's turned off his Coco and his TV, because it's got the fade to black thing on the TV there.
Love that.
And then the next day, he says, "What do you mean you forget the game?" And Coco says, "Gotta save it, kid. I got a bad short-term memory."
That's
yes. So, yes, if we want to talk about regrets, would that be one of them? Possibly working on something and not saving it?
Or working on something and the power goes off or something and you haven't saved it.
Yeah.
Or the other
saving
one,
to cassette. Saving to cassette without fast forwarding past the leader.
Oh.
Yeah. Or doing a C save with it in Poke 65495 mode.
Would that not work? That contaminate?
No, not on the Coco One. On the Coco One, it won't work because it ups the clock rate, so it ups the pitch, and it saves it at a higher pitch on the cassette. Then when you play it back at the higher pitch, the Coco hardware is designed to detect a specific pitch, and when you play it back, it won't detect anything. So it all works as normal. You'll get the save screen, you'll get level on your tape, and you'll think, "Yep, that's working great." And then you switch everything off, and then you go to load it back in, and it's like, "Oh, won't load." I did that a number of times and kicked myself.
Wow. No. So this one was
There's probably
called
a number
Wait,
you could poke here or there to change the pitch that the Coco's looking for to make it work with that higher pitched save.
Yeah, don't.
It's a hardware issue. It's because the cassette has a physical resistor and capacitor network to filter out and isolate certain pitches. But there is a way. I didn't know it back in the day, but there is actually a way you can get that to work. All you do is you slow down the tape, change the pitch of the tape. But that's not easy to do on a deck that doesn't have a pitch control.
Yeah, some decks had that.
Oh, so Jerry Young is now feeding back on your video. He says, in the game, the map only appears one time at the beginning. That was an interesting looking game, though, Jerry. I'd love to have you join us sometime, but you want to talk about it. DeBruce says, I always ended up saving twice due to tape errors.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Save often, right? Save and save often.
Yep.
The golden
and on
rules.
both sides, on different tapes. And
yeah.
I do that. I even do that with my STCs. I take the STC out and copy it onto a hard drive, so I've got backup copies.
Oh,
in case
yes.
it gets corrupted.
I've gotten corruptions.
Yeah.
That was the main reason why I went, because a lot of people are like, oh, I like still working with cassette. That's why when discs came along, I kind of just said, see ya to cassettes, never to come back. Never ever, It
was never easy to find your program in a string of programs.
Yeah. You had to write down the index numbers for your
especially if you
tape counter.
Yes, especially if you used a 90-minute cassette.
Or 120.
Yeah.
You'd have to rewind the beginning, reset it to 0, and then fast forward to...
You could use a skip F command to actually tell it to skip until it found that particular one, but on a 90-minute tape, that takes a while.
Real time data
almost the same
mining.
Almost the same amount of time as it takes to load a C64 game.
Yes. Oh my.
Off of disc.
All right. Well, how long was this train wreck? 3 hours, 3.25 hours. This has been a short show compared to last week, but I enjoyed it. Thanks for. I'm glad we could get together and do this and have our fun and talk about the Coco.
Absolutely.
Have some chuckles.
It's all fun and games.
It's all fun and games. But we must forget. We must not forget. We must remember the most important reason why we are all here today. And let us not forget the reason why we are here. Happy birthday to you, Nick Marotta. Happy birthday.
See, it starts out nice, but let's see how it
to
goes.
you mother effer.
Yeah, see,
Happy
there we go. Didn't take long.
birthday, you scum sucking SOB. Happy
guys are my friends, right?
to you.
Oh man, I could go anywhere else and get it. I can go many places and get abused.
You feel so special now.
But why do that when you can just stop here at your one-stop shop at CoCoTALK?
In all seriousness, I love the show. I love you guys, the Discord, the community, the chat. Everything has just been really, really awesome, and I'm very grateful for it.
Likewise.
Totally agree. Here.
You love this Discord? Datcord.
I love Datcord.
The Bruce says I sound like a
Zed Sharp.
The Bruce said I sound like a sad Marilyn. Now here's
he's pronounced it right, Zed Sharp.
here's the real surprise. We wanted to save this for the end, but we spared no expense and we flew David Ladd over to Nick Marotta's house. David Ladd's been lurking in the bushes this whole time. He's about ready to jump out and let you blow out his candle. So
watch out, he's got a nasty rash.
Hello, everyone.
He's got a nasty rash from the bush.
Is everyone excited today? I know
That was poison ivy, right?
Yeah.
That was scarily accurate.
Oh,
Actually, since Nick's up there in Canada, David may have had to go somewhere warmer. I'm sure it's cold there now, especially in metric.
all right.
It's cold. It's shrinkage.
Well, we're gonna roll the outro, and then we'll be back for parting thoughts.
That's from Seinfeld.
After these words here. Yeah, and Jerry, thank you, Jerry. And Jerry, if you'd like to come on and join us sometime, we'd love to have you talk about your MC10 projects. Please join us. If we haven't scared your way of all our sophomoric behavior.
And Amigos Retro Gaming was here as well, which would be awesome to have.
All right. Well, we're gonna roll closing credits, and we'll be back here in just a moment. But let's not forget today is Nick Marotta's birthday. This concludes another episode of CoCoTALK, the world's leading live talk show featuring the Tandy Color Computer. For all things CoCoTALK, visit us on the web at CoCoTALK.live. We'd love to hear from you. Send feedback, suggestions, even segments via email to CoCoTALK@CoCoTALK.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
Consider supporting the show with a purchase of merchandise from our retro swag shop at 8bit256.com. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, click the Patreon link at our website at CoCoTALK.live.
CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world, keeping the Tandy flame alive. We may be mocked, but we'll never stop, 'cause CoCoTALK is rocking the 8-bit world.
CoCoTALK would not exist without the community, its cast, crew, and contributors. Thanks go to Curtis Boyle, David Ladd, Mark Overholzer, Grant Leedy, Bruce Moore, Nick Marentes, Ron Delvaux, Rick Adams, Jason Reichert, Richard Lorbieski, Jim Brain, Tom C., Rob Inman, Mark Bosley, Brian Joyce, Ken Reichert, David O'Connor, Brian Weasler, Terry Steggy, Nick Marotta, John Strong, and many more, especially to Steve Bjork for production suggestions and James Diffendaffer for making my head explode. Please help support the CoCo community by visiting some of its various contributors. A list of resources is available at imacoconut.com. That's IMACOCONUT.com. The CoCoTALK theme song is copyright 2008 by D. Bruce Moore and Greg Sheeler. Mixed, mastered, and produced by D. Bruce Moore. It would not be an episode of CoCoTALK without Nick Marotta. And speaking of that, Diet Dr. Pepper, that's half the David Ladd mixed drink right there. All you need is some water to go with that. So 1 part Diet Dr. Pepper, 1 part water. You've got yourself a David Ladd. Your taste buds will thank you for it. Your bladder might not.
I was trying to figure out the next year when November 9th will fall on a Saturday. I was unsuccessful, but hopefully we are still on the doing well and on the air when that happens.
Well, we can do a special midnight at Friday, midnight edition or something. So,
but I appreciate this, guys. You guys, seriously, you gave me a fantastic birthday. I'm very. You guys made me laugh. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're too kind. Thank you.
I'm still going to the theme park on my next birthday.
Yeah, Michael Pitsley. Michael Pitsley just joined us in the live chat. He says, IO error. Every time you tried to C-load something important or something took hours of typing in with those IO Diet Dr. Thunder is what Al Hartman says, right? That's the, what is that, the Walmart? Or
yeah, it's Walmart.
All right. So
please load.
In the live chat.
Yeah, absolutely.
In our
it
live
occurred to me
chat.
you just bumped the volume knob or something stupid.
Yes. Mark B, Terry Steen, Ken Reichert, and DeBruce, and Curtis Boyle, and Mark Overholzer, and Tom C, and Ken Reichert, and Mark Overholzer, and Al Hartman has been here. Ken Reichert has been here. Ken, Mark B, Tom C, Nick Marotta, Alexander Wallace, DeBruce Moore has been here in the live chat. Terry Steen, Al Hartman, and Tim Franklin has been here, and Alexander Wallace, and Rob Inman, Terry Steggy, Ken Reichert, Ben Drakes, our VR guy, and DeBruce, and Terry Steen, and Rob Inman. Very active. Arnold A. Lampel has been here. Hey, Arnold. Has been here, and Nick Marotta and Rob Inman and all kinds. Paul Fiscarelli said, "Yo, how you doing?" And he said, "Happy birthday, Nick." Retro Innovation stopped by, but minimal trolling from the troll. Retro ENG was here. Retro Eng. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Retro Eng? I don't know. Paul Fiscarelli, Amigos Retro Gaming was here. Retro Eng and Jason Downs. Oh, he mentioned that he got that Tano Dragon 64 off eBay for $66. That's cool.
Oh,
Coco Man was been here, and Terry Steen and Tim Franklin. Sean Ernst stopped by and said hello, and Paul Fiscarelli, Rob Inman, Amigos, Paulie, lots of people.
Fonz.
The Fonz was here. Yes, Ralph Mouse.
I think Elvis
was here.
was cited too.
Yeah. All right. So we did it all. We did it all. So that is it. We've done it all. We've said it
You
all.
didn't mention me, man.
We did not mention Ronnie Chong, aka Ron Delvaux, in the
Yeah,
live
man.
panel. We had many people. Some of them still here. Some of them still awake. Ron Delvaux is still here. Thank you for being here, Ron.
Keeping the flame alive, man.
All right, man.
I'd just like to mention that we're in Hollywood Squares mode here, and I'd
Yeah.
like to take I'll take Nick Marotta for the win.
There we go. I'd like to thank Mark D. Overholzer for being here, and Brian the Music Man Shoebring for being here. Nick Marentes, thank you for being here. Jason
if this were
Reichert.
Brady Bunch, we'd be married, right, Jason?
Yes. John Lowry, thank you for being here. L. Curtis DeBoyle has been here, and David O'Connor, and a very special thank you to Nicholas Marotta. The reason why we get together every week is to celebrate Nick Marotta. We all know it. We're not going to hide it. So, Nick.
So, wait.
Nick, thank you so much for aging.
There were a number of shows I believe we aired before I was here. So, what was the...
we were celebrating you before we even realized
Okay.
it.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it
That makes sense. All right.
You came through and gave us clarity.
That was our warm up.
Yes.
Thank you for making me feel welcome, and I'm just overwhelmed. Thank you.
You're too kind. You are too kind. So we'll close it on a little bit of music here as we celebrate. Get out your $5 ukulele there, Jason. So, oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching another episode of CoCoTALK, the very special Nick Marotta Happy Birthday edition. Available to you live each and every week at 2 p.m. Florida time. Won't you join us again next week? We certainly hope you do. On behalf of Nick Marotta, which the world revolves around, we'd like to thank you for sharing in the glory that is Nick Marotta.
Okay, push the button, Frank.
We are going to push a button. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye to everybody.
Bye, everyone.
All right, we are ending the stream. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Where's this smoking show, man?
I think I'm turning red.
All right, we're hanging up now. We're pressing the